How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test, proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8GB. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse-to-die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours. Red Bull gives you wings.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
BGMI का यूनिवर्सल MVP वापस आएगा एक ब्लॉकबस्टर कमबैक के साथ। कुछ प्लेयर्स का जमाना होता है और कुछ के बनते हैं साम्राज्य। BGMS के मंच पे ओरंगुटान की पिक्चर अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त। Esports Ka Blockbuster.
It's the day 7 of the league stage, and still a lot of known names are quite far away from the goal, which is to be inside of the top 4. Welcome to BGMS Season 4, where I'm going to be a host of Cast Crore. John alongside with me on the panel at Scared Yet. And yeah, the goal is to be inside of the top 4, or at least be anywhere around that marker.
I mean, be anywhere in the top 6, top 7, just one game away to make that big leap in the top 4 is exactly the target for all of these teams, right? Because you would not really be the one to have the bounty on your back, considering there's so many bounty hunters going on. And now we're finally in that part of the day, or rather in the week, where we are seeing teams get more and more close to that big 35-point bombers.
And it's not just that. We're also seeing teams be a little bit more aggressive inside of the battlefields. And one of the most important things for that has to be the bounty system that's added, and even the impact player system that's added. Let's not forget, yesterday we saw so many individual outshine moments, and one of them has to be from Hunters as well.
I mean, you cannot forget about that fact that 1v4 against K9 and then him giving a choice words back to them on the camera as well. But yeah, this is the big strength about this man. And I'm still surprised as to how he was first of all playing in Reckoning. They let him go. Then he was in Soul. Even they decided to let him go. And now he's standing in Genesis. And he's answering to all of those people back with his own performance.
And that's what the best part about this man has always been. He packs a lot of punch and has a lot of potential. And since we're speaking so much about what happened yesterday, let's have a look at the Day 6 recap. Things started off with quite a lot of question marks since we had 2 new power-ups ready and locked in inside of the game. I'm speaking of the bounty system and the impact player. And we did see quite an explosive start to the game as well.
Pretty solid one where OG themselves wanted to take the fight, but it was godlike to answer them back and claim their bounty. But guess what? The entire limelight was stolen by Marcos Gaming one more time, this time from Noddy.
As usual, once again doing the unthinkable, and of course Marcos Gaming proving exactly why they're over here in the 16, currently in the overall standings. And later on we did see Genesis Esports once again do their shenanigans, quite aggressive inside the game, proved themselves over and over again, but Revenant X Park, their domination was quite unstoppable. In the final few moments, NINZA finally got the chicken dinner and the glory that they were searching for, and the boys are still quite happy.
They absolutely were, but man oh man, the map of Sanhok packs such a solid punch. Action right from the get-go between FS and MyG Los Hermanos, where 8-Bit eventually decided to hop in, and it was 8-Bit eventually to close things out, but holy smoke, Mad King stopping godlike, and then this 1v1 of aimbot, absolutely insane.
The man doing absolutely unthinkable. None of us thought that Metal Esports stood a chance to take that chicken dinner, but aimbot, just like his name, he lasered down anyone that stood against him. And of course, later on in the final game, we saw Hunters pulling off a miraculous gameplay. A massive clutch that saved the day for the boys and also added a lot of smiles and confidence.
You try to hunt the hunter and you will become the prey. It was a time to call an ambulance, but for K9. And over towards the end, finally, after 6 gruesome days of constant grind, Victor Sumus finding their big chicken dinner was the big thing of last game.
Victorious Sumus has always been someone that likes to play it passive and defensive, and them finding that chicken dinner means quite a bit in the overall standings. And since we're speaking of the overall standings, let's have a look at that. The top 4 as usual. On the 4th, you've got Soul. On 3rd, Genesis Esports. That aggression really paying off. Hero Extreme Godlike as well on the 2nd spot. And on the 1st, untouched, still OG's there.
Always being on top out there. That's the team that you always want to try and topple down. But even on the okay days is something when they have a 12-point lead over the 2nd placing team. That's the main strength of them, right? But a big bounce coming in from Victor Sumus, Mad Kings, NINZA as well. Some names that we're actually seeing on the very lower end of the 2nd half. But eventually, now they're slowly and steadily getting their pace back up.
And who would have thought you will see teams like 8-Bit, Reckoning Esports, 4TR, True Rippers, TWOB, Likitha Esports, and Phoenix Esports on the last page. All of these names are quite the known names and still sitting on the last page. These names pack a lot of punch and have a lot of caliber. But honestly speaking, now it's time to amp up the aggression and show what you're capable of to the lobby.
I really want to see, right? Because it's also the last day of the Impact Player rule as well. Now you're not going to have the Impact Player rule after this. So you've basically got to wait 5 more days after that till Friday to try and bring all of that up. So I really want to see them, slowly and steadily showcase their full potential. Because godlike, I'm pretty sure this is a team that we have seen up on their highs, but right now they're kind of feeling a bit iffy.
And recently, Hero Extreme Godlike has also made a few switch-ups inside of the playing force, switching in Gods, putting out Simp, and honestly speaking, yes, it's having quite the positive impact as well. We've got the comparison of both these players. Simp has played 12 matches so far, only had 4 finishes, which is of course not that great, but Godsy, in 4 matches, the man managed to contribute 5 finishes. That's remarkable.
And out of all of those matches that he's played, right, a couple of those matches were where his team instantly dropped and was picked off by Genesis Esports, if we remember it correctly, right? When they had the bounty on their heads and they were only playing 2 games. Genesis, they just decided to wake up and choose violence, and they won in that entire conversation. Even on the map of Miramar, they ended up claiming the bounty.
Honestly speaking, look, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I really wanted to put this out there. My 2 favorite teams currently are MyG Los Hermanos and Genesis Esports. The way these guys are taking those firefights, not scared of anyone. It does not matter who you are, they will take the fight.
I 100% agree, because these 2 were the teams who started the bounty hunting, if you're talking about it. On the day itself, when the bounties eventually came out, it was MyG Los Hermanos to try and target all of the top teams as well. And it was them who eventually pushed godlike on the bit of an awkward end, right? But now, since we've been talking about the Impact Player rule as well, man, Hunters is utilizing that to perfection.
Of course, the man racking up the most amount of finish points right there. 20 finishes by the man himself. Then you got Aimbot as well with 18 finishes. You cannot really count out a man like AKOP with 13.
That's the main thing, right? Pain is live as well, answering back with 13. So legit. That's the main guy I would also want to talk about, right? Because he has been the main starlight of Soul. He's constantly been shining up right now, but for the past 2 days, I'll have to say it's been a legit show. But Soul as an entire team, yeah, they've been facing some problems. But holy smoke, seems like 8-Bit went on a Shorter end of the trolling stick, huh?
Look, we all know Samraj as the impact player was not a good choice at all. The man's the IGL. He's the one to make the main calls. And when you put the IGL on the impact player role, who's supposed to be the one to go up front and frag out, it's not going to work out. The moment the IGL gets picked off the first, you're going to have a lot of problems inside of the game. And the IGL's supposed to play it back. And that's what's clearly happening over here. He's not able to contribute with a lot of points.
Even he's struggling. Also, Clutch God from Mad Kings as well. Only has 2 finishes right now. So I think so they really need to rack it all up.
But luckily enough, Mad Kings is not doing as bad as the players of 8-Bit. There's still a lot of improvement. But for now, let's move on to the stage for an interview.
फिनिशेस इस मामले में जो नंबर 2 पे है वो मेरे राइट पे है हंटर्स। और ये देखो भाई जो नंबर 1 पे है, भाई का स्वैग अलग, भाई का स्टाइल अलग। AQOP और ओरंगुटान से इज विद मी एज वेल। लेकिन हंटर्स भाई सबसे पहले तो कल क्या परफॉर्मेंस दी है यार। फिनिशेस के मामले में सडनली आपने जो छलांग लगाई है एंड नाउ यू आर क्लोज ऑन द हील्स ऑफ AQOP, मतलब ज्यादा अंतर नहीं है। लेकिन वो K9 के साथ जो हुआ उसके बारे में बताइए, बिकॉज 4 आपको हंट करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, तुमने उनको ध्वस्त कर दिया, पैन मारने का भी टाइम मिल गया तुम्हें। व्हाट हैपेंड देयर?
ऐसे तो टीममेट्स बहुत बोल रहे थे कि खुद पे नेट मार लो, खुद पे नेट मार लो, लेकिन मैंने वहीं खुद पे भरोसा करके एक अच्छी पोजी चूज करके वहाँ पे मतलब ट्राई करा उन लोगों को मारने का और वो सक्सेस हो गया।
फिनिशेस के मामले में AQOP टॉप पे, लेकिन ये और मैं हम दोनों जूझ रहे हैं क्योंकि हमसे ज्यादा अच्छा फिनिश कर रहे हैं हमारे कास्टर क्रैट जिन्होंने एक वायरस छोड़ रखा है। इनकी तबीयत खराब, मेरी तबीयत खराब। बट लिसन ओरंगुटान, एक दिन आसमान पर, दूसरा दिन थोड़ा सा नीचे रह जाते हैं। दिस स्ट्रगलिंग, वो कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं आई है। व्हाट्स प्लेगिंग यू?
लास्ट इवेंट पे कुछ ज्यादा गैप बना लेता तो लोगों को मजा नहीं आया, इसलिए अभी सोचा कि थोड़ा अप डाउन करते रहते ताकि मजा आए लोगों को देखने में भी।
अगले सवाल के जवाब पे आपको और भी ज्यादा मजा आने वाले हैं। आप जो कैमरा पकड़ के खड़े हुए हैं, आप जरा इधर आइए, सवाल सुनिए, जवाब इन दोनों के ऊपर फोकस। वो कौन सी 2 टीमें हैं BGMS में जिन्हें यहां नहीं चैलेंजर्स में होना चाहिए था?
मैं तो TWOB और LE।
TWOB और LE, उनको यहां नहीं चैलेंजर्स में होना चाहिए था, क्यों?
बस ऐसे ही थोड़ा लग रहा है देख के उन लोग के पॉइंट्स कुछ होना चाहिए। वहाँ पे ज्यादा डिजर्विंग टीम थी जो चैलेंजर्स में चले गई।
कौन?
जैसे कि हेक्टर की टीम और VXT बोल लो, 2 टाइम्स चैंपियन थी, तो यहाँ पे होनी चाहिए थी।
ओके AQOP?
वैसे तो सब टीम अच्छी है, बट मेरा फेज ऐसा रहा कि मैंने मतलब बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रगल किया यहाँ तक आने के लिए, तो मैं एक्सपेक्ट करता था कि बाकी टीम जो भी मतलब ओनर बोलते हैं कि स्ट्रगल करना पड़ता है ये स्टेज में परफॉर्म करने के लिए, तो मैं बोलूंगा नॉन और MG।
NoNx और MG 4 टीमें। क्या इन 4 टीमों के पास इन दोनों के लिए, पूरे BGMS के लिए जवाब है? वेल, पता करेंगे। पहला मैच आ रहा है। इनफैक्ट आज के सारे मैचेस लाइक ऑलवेज खेले जाएंगे 1+13 पे। वी टेक अ ब्रेक एंड कम बैक।
Unlock the Dravian X suit starting at 10 UC on BGMI. Limited time offer on Google Play.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test, proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12 gigabyte ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Unlock the Dravian X suit starting at 10 UC on BGMI. Limited time offer on Google Play.
We're just a couple of moments away from actually stepping inside of the first game of this Day 7. And Scared, you know the ritual. You know what I'm going to ask you, so just tell me.
Dang, can you just already stop about it right now? I'm still going to pick God's Reign, considering they always end up performing on that first game itself, right? But overall, watching both of these teams again, Group B, they're absolutely ready to try and pick on most of these teams out there. And here's the fun thing, you've got a couple of bounty teams as well out here right now. I want to see all of these big names perform as well, but at the same time, I want to see a big comeback coming in from Revenant X-Park, man, because, of course, they've been kept quiet for quite a long time now.
Yeah, but in a few games, we're definitely seeing that burst of action from the side of Revenant X-Park, a burst of good points as well from the side of Revenant X-Park. Especially that yesterday's game at Miramar, but they were able to survive in the final few moments. Yeah, it's a whole different story that NINZAs were the one to steal that chicken dinner away and move on with that momentum. But yeah, Revenant X-Park is also one of those teams that we would love to see inside of the top 4. They do have the caliber, but for some reason, they're now fizzling away.
It just seems like, you know, they've got fears, they've got their man ready up, riling up as well with red hot engine, but eventually it fizzles out just when you need it the most. It somehow ends up being a bit of a synergy issue which I see between the team as well, right? There was a moment of 1v2 as well in which NINZA yesterday were able to convert that game too, and even after that we haven't really seen one of those big performances that we saw earlier on day number 1 and day number 2. So that's something I'm really focused on, since Group A and B teams will be playing right now and B will play all the 4 games. I think so it's a big time right now for teams like OG and NINZA to bring themselves back up.
Inside of Group B, we've got a lot of massive names. Let's not forget the names, just keep on going on. What matters is who's going to be there to go for a drop clash and claim that bounty. Soul's got that bounty on top of their skulls. Even OG still has the bounty on top of their head. And someone might actually go for a drop clash. You speak of the aggressive teams. Potentially, it might be Metal Esports. It might be Likitha Esports. It might be Los Hermanos that actually want to move on and claim that bounty. And sometimes we also do see Revenant X-Park in the nearby fray, wanting to take the advantage of that same thing.
Most of the teams would want to try and get those third-party engagements in as well. That's why we are seeing a lot of third-party, fourth parties hopping in. And I think so that's something you've got to be wary about now if you're a bounty team as well. So seeing the plane fly path all the way starting from Stolberg going down to the military base and over Repnoy. God's Reign happy about it. MyG Los Hermanos right now, they're going to be dropping in towards FS. FS had a couple of good days. Roman was insane. But this is the last day and last chance right now for Lavish to try and find some impactful picks. And it seems like Severny is going to be the hot ground.
FS Esports as well is another one of those teams that's been fizzling out. They need to try and get rid of the opponents right off the rip and get the momentum rolling for themselves too. But unfortunately for them, they're locking horns against MyG Los Hermanos, a team that's been feeling themselves in the firefight. And this is one of those fights that will come into fruition soon. MyG Los Hermanos inside of Severny. You've also got FS Esports on a bit of that split. Roman's all the way in the back in those isolated compounds, while his teammates still inside of Severny. And Roman needs to move in and provide that cover. There's still NoNx as well in nearby territory, so there's a big chance the moment this fight actually happens, NoNx might just go for a third party. But looking at the zone, now it's in 2 different minds. Is it going to go down south, or is it still going to be another shift?
Absolutely big question mark right now. I was about to say that it is interesting to see Revenant X-Park dropping towards Pochinki, considering Milta was absolutely on cards as well, and they like to drop around that area. So they themselves are right now taking a drop clash with Team Aryan. And that's interesting to see, as we have not really seen Revenant X-Park being the hot favorites when it comes to those drop clashes.
Well, to be honest, we haven't really seen Revenant X-Park go for any sort of drop clashes. And the same thing can also be said for Team Aryan too. Team Aryan is someone that likes to avoid all the early game scuffle. And this time around, they cannot really go for that avoidance. They need to go for the fight, but no matter what, we've also got FSC Sports against MyG Los Hermanos. And Levi does a lot of damage, but he instantly gets traded out and also confirmed there's still Roman right around the corner. Did try to make that pounce, but MyG Los Hermanos consistently shutting down FSC Sports, and now they're starting with the fight as well. Spy's knocked out. He's the only one that's a possible casualty for MyG Los Hermanos. The remaining 3 players, man, they're making a mark.
It seems like you can't take the drop clash with MyG Los Hermanos regardless of who you are. Every single time this team decides to take the early fight, they've always got the advantage. I don't know how they pull it. But it's
the Spark with a man advantage in this fight, though, Scared.
Seems like they might possibly try and pounce on Devotee as well, who is the impact player of Team Aryan. If you really look at the position of Aryan himself, he's all the way on the other side, so it's technically a sandwich, but you've got 4 players of Revenant Spark ready to pounce on him, and Devotee does not have a helmet.
A sandwich in a city is quite tough to pull off.
Exactly.
Because you've got ample amount of cover. But if you're out in the open terrains, that's where the sandwich is most effective.
True.
But at this point in time for MyG Los Hermanos, just want to thread the needle, find the last player of FSC Sports.
Beautiful.
And just like that, this Nate's going to be on the point, and Lovish, he cannot do anything except the fate and get deleted.
Skalan, who got 3 of those finishes as well. That means 12 points already claimed by MyG Los Hermanos, but Victor Sermus right now seem to be in a bit of a wall of trouble. Soul as well, struggling a little bit. They managed to get 1, but always seems to be in bench. People can jump onto him, so that could be a problem right now. It does not have any major healings. Just a few bandages as Mafia tries to join into his man. Cheyenne as well up close, but they're not at all in good position to take this fight.
Yeah, I'm not sure of what exactly Victor Sumus are doing here. But it's quite a tricky spot to be in. And luckily enough for Soul, the fallen man's back up on his feet once again. Man advantage in the hands of Soul. Mafia, he pushes up. This man's got guts. And he still actually finds a knock as well. But always also gets knocked in return.
Cheyenne?
Soul, they're doing this perfectly well. Playing for trades back and forth. Cheyenne's position known. Soul, they're still knuckle knocked out. And they want to get rid of that man. Victor Sumus with just one last man standing, which is Cheyenne. And he's the only glimmer of hope that's left. And he does not have any meds to patch himself up as well. This fight's done. I highly doubt Victor Sumus can do anything. I highly doubt Cheyenne can pull off a clutch.
It's almost next to impossible right now. He can just try and maybe get a lucky knock on the other side. But yeah, that's not happening. Don't even have the M4 out here. And a perfect aim coming in from Legit. This man never misses. He's always there. You don't want to fight him when he's feeling hot. And even in Pochinki, Aryan losing a couple of members. That's been a bit of a problem coming in. Revenant X-Park, they're finally looking like the team that we wanted to see them to be. And it's not really Aryan deciding to drop clash them. It's Revenant X-Park's decision to take the fight to Aryan.
Back towards Pochinki once again. Revenant X-Park, they've already found a major advantage inside of the fight. Isolating 2 players of Team Aryan, eliminating them as well. And that's one way to actually have a massive advantage inside of a fight. Especially as of now, though, Revenant X-Park, you want to find another man. And somewhere down line, Revenant X-Park does have an idea. There might be someone in this building. Probably sensing something. Cyrax in the front, that TPP angle eliminates him. Perfectly played from Revenant X-Park. Oh, these players, they've got 6 sets. Now the last man as well, he's been spotted. Aryan himself, the man's on the move. Team Aryan, what a blunderous way to kick things off in this game.
Nade being cooked right now. Trace has seen him. Trace can smell him. And he wants this confirmation as well. Right before the stage 1 gets over. Trace wants this. Oh my god, and what a timing to pick off Aryan. A couple of shots onto the crate. Just to make sure that the lead is spewed inside his body. 4 finishes coming in for Trace. And correct me if I'm wrong, he's giving 12 points to his team.
Oh man. That's 16 points.
Yeah, that's 16. 4
wow.
more than...
That is insane. With 1 squad wipe, Somehow, Trace managed to rack up 16 points because he's the impact player.
And every single one of the member in his team is alive.
Mind-blowing. Flawless execution from Revenant and X-Park. Now we know why exactly they dropped on top of Team Aryan. And Team Aryan is also one of those teams that likes to avoid the early game scuffle, just like Victoria's Sumus. And Revenant and X-Park knew exactly that. They wanted to take the advantage of that. Aryan getting caught off guard, not ready for this battle. Yeah, it was an absolute nightmare for them.
And also seeing the players dropping there, right? Aryan still decided to drop a bit more wide, spread apart. They were not really in the position to try and bring all of themselves back up in this one. Now since the blue is also about to hit and stage 2 is about to begin, we see TWOB taking a rotation all the way from the eastern edges, crossing out the beaches of Milta Power, now moving all the way down from the southeastern end.
What if the zone's going to take a curveball shift up north?
I wish. I really want to see that.
TWOB will be messed up big time.
Now
it's actually going to be southern shift. So luckily enough for TWOB, they can still loot up on the edge lines. They can still loot up those isolated compounds. Luckily enough, if they can get their hands on a few vehicles, that will be the icing on top of the cake. But TWOB is still struggling to get on top. Oh no, there we go. A bit of a boost.
Yeah.
And that's going to help OB to finally get on the surface.
You know, they've got to be a bit more careful around that fray, right? Because True Rippers, they do like to rotate down south a bit. But it's the bridge where MyG lost Hermanos are now facing the problem. They decided to cross the bridge into the territory of God's Rain, and they are now facing the wrath of Zeus.
It's fine though, MyG lost Hermanos. They've already gotten 8 points. Or probably more than that, since Kalan is the impact player.
Yeah.
13. And he was also able to rack up a lot of finishes to himself. So yeah, MyG lost Hermanos. They've pretty much done enough. And at this point in time for MyG lost Hermanos, what they really need to care about is going to be the surrounding.
Soul.
Goblin from Soul. The man was tapping away constantly. And even Soul is someone that has taken the advantage of the power play. So luckily enough for Soul, that's another decent start.
It's a pretty good start considering Legit also got one finish out of that, so 4 points for that.
If you really think about it, OG is the only team in the top 4 that's not really prioritizing any sort of drop clashes. That's not really going for the power play points.
They don't really need to do that because sometimes the fight comes to them directly, and kind of happened as well where NoNx was the one who found a pick onto Wisgod when he dropped all the way towards that one bridge near Georgia Pearl and the upper island. And right now NoNx, they also have an opportunity to take down the rest of the three members, because this is the only team who can actually claim the bounty of OG.
But as of now though, OG still all the way back in the blue. They want to find a breaching point inside of the zone. Safety line still pretty far away, and OG just want to pave a good path. But how can they pivot when the path is filled with a lot of foes? At this moment, OG just needs to wait out patiently. Keep on patching themselves up. Wait for the opponents to actually move away from that spot, and then make a good rotation.
AKOP, cheeky little guy out there. Soul found the knock, but he stole it away. 2 points to his team now. NoNx also trying to answer back. Rapido's been taken down. There's still 3 to 4 teams remaining out here. And the circle has taken a proper southern shift. So everyone will now have to move to the southern island. There's almost all the teams still surviving right now. I'm not quite sure how the teams of the western fray will be able to rotate, as the eastern one is also being stopped right now as Goblin finds a big knock onto AK.
And just like that, it's Soul dismantling the entirety of OG within a few seconds. That burst of action was enough for Soul to eliminate the entirety of OG, and now they're also going to be quite happy with that. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, we've also got Metal Esports taking a fight against Reckoning. Viper and Flock down. Reckoning Esports, they're down to just that one last man, and probably that final glimmer of hope is going to try to run away and play for safety. But even he gets spotted and eliminated from the game. That's it for Reckoning Esports 2.
Beautiful. Couple of picks going in for their impact player as well, aimbot. So that's 4 points overall since it's in stage 3. Solid stuff coming in from their side. Surrounded them perfectly, got 3 players down and spotted the 4th one as well to not let him run away. But this is the big problem which they will face right now. They've got to try and move forward from True Ripper's clutches. Will they be allowed to do so is the question.
Oh, there we go. Goblin. The man is still continuing his wrath against the players of Revenant X Park. Him and the boys took down the entirety of OG, but they're not done yet. Now it's time to switch your focus against the players of Revenant X Park, and yet they're also finding a lot of success.
Look at Nakul.
Fury is down. Trace all by himself inside of the shack. The man's trapped. He's got nowhere to go. Not a lot of possible ways the man can make him escape. There's also Fierce wanting to make a flank angle, but the man's position's known, and Fierce spots down legit.
What?
And he hunts him down, but Fierce, he instantly gets traded as well. Trades starting to happen back and forth, but even NoNx now want to be a part of the action. And if NoNx actually ends up third-partying this, I highly doubt Soul's going to be able to survive. They will be eliminated soon.
They're facing shots from 2 different ends as well, and that's not just them. Even Revenant X Park now in a very tight spot. They're definitely not going to win out that engagement. Super problematic. NoNx being the party spoilers. Eventually clearing out the fray on the west, but on the east is where True Rippers. They eventually camped perfectly that bridge and middle. They've only left Termi remaining. Everyone else has been taken down too. Soul taking an exit out of here as well. Nakul not really surviving for long, but I'm not quite sure if NoNx themselves would be able to survive through this.
Yeah, Soul getting taken down is completely fine, but they've got 10 finishes. And keep this thing in mind, a few finishes were also taken in the power play, and even the impact player role comes into play. So those finishes will be doubled up in points as well. Next zone, shifting a little bit on the northern side, and also taking that right shift. TWOB on the southern side, you've got Marcos Gaming 2 slowly and steadily moving in from the edges. But Marcos Gaming first needs to clear out TWOB and then try and find a better spot. That will be an interesting fight, but a massive cluster of teams on the top left. That's where the real action will start to begin.
Question is, how would they be able to handle all of that, right? It's funny enough where AK and Hunters took the name of TWOB and MG to be the teams that should have been in this Challenger series, not really in the Master series, and it's MG and TWOB right now, quite close to the circle as well. And OG are not even in this game anymore.
Look at the Esports smoker out in the open, in the edge lines, and Machi lost Hermanos. The boys have got nowhere to go. Colin, the only man standing, he tried to steal that elimination point away, but no, Destro, he still gets the confirmation. Machi lost Hermanos, especially Colin, he's the only man standing, and he's also in such an awkward spot. There's another team in the back lines, and Colin, the man's doing his best. NoNx moving against the players of God's Reign, and God's Reign, they've got somewhere to go.
Yeah.
They need to make an escape, and this has to be a great one too. Kaliug, he does find the confirmation against Neo, but God's Reign, they're still surviving.
As of now, they're still holding down, and they're going to make sure that all of these stranglers are eventually taken care of right here, right now. And in the meantime, it's Marcos Gaming taking fight against the members of TWOB. Trade's going back and forth out there, but hold on a second. Trade Squad is here. They're ruining the game of God's Reign. God's Reign wanted to be the team that clears out all of their backlines, but they've only got a couple of members remaining.
Yeah, but luckily enough, Trace is backing away. So he's not going to continue his wrath. The man did the damage, but he's instantly backing away towards the southern side inside of the military base. God's Reign, at least as of now, they can still rule this territory. But Starboy in the front, it's going to be extremely tough. Man's constantly spamming away.
One shot!
And even XO, yeah, barely. Justin surviving. But even XO is all the way back in the blue, and now the man's going to be taking a lot of damage. Justin placed it perfectly. But even the man needs to patch himself up. The blue's on the move, and Justin's going to be engulfed soon. And this time he won't be able to survive the wrath of blue as the man gets wrapped up and eliminated, and the entirety of God's Reign's not there in the game anymore. This was a military base zone, and God's Reign was supposed to take it, but they messed up.
It's a big question mark onto God's Reign themselves as to where the players were looking. They were just not watching each other's pack, and that's a big problem coming in. And the engagement that was happening down south as well. Marcos Gaming came out on top, taking 3 off middle, only losing 1. Termi ran to survive.
It felt like God's Reign was quite overconfident in that scenario.
Very.
And that's why they got absolutely abused.
Also the fact that they did not took into consideration that there would be so many stranglers remaining. They thought maybe, yeah, at least a couple of teams would be hopping in here. They did not expect Ray Scott from Revenant X Park to hop in as a lurker.
Expect the unexpected. Classic Battle Royale saying. And God's Reign forgot the most generic thing. They had the confidence that the backlines are quite clear, but that's when Trey Scott struck.
Exactly.
And that's when God's Reign completely broke down.
Losing the members out here left and right. Look at the esports are going to be on the struggle as well, but True Rippers and NINZA are going to be super happy about this. With the teams who have got the most control out here with the most members, but NINZA don't really have a lot of finishes out here, so they'll have to make sure that Reaper is the man who gets most of the finishes right now, so that they can at least utilize the impact player to perfection. Because just some stranglers remaining if you think about it. Trace, Termi, then Magic and Starboy from Likitha.
True Rippers. They've got a solid spread. NINZA, they have been there in that same spot since the start. Even they've got quite a solid spot inside of the circle. Once again, NINZA going back to the basics, just the way they like to play it. Hold the smack center down, play for the chicken dinner. And that's going to help them propel themselves quite high in the overall standings. They've got the base set up with 106 points in the overall, which is absolutely not bad.
But now that you're seeing the main difference, right? Even Revenant X Park is on 162 points. So if you're really focusing down on the top 4, just 10-20 points out of 3 to 4 games is not really going to cut it. You have to utilize the power play. You have to utilize the impact player to gain those 15, 16, 17 points in almost each and every game to try and cover up that gap.
Look, the ultimate goal is to be in the top 4 so that you can directly move on to the grand finals. But the secondary goal is to be in the top 12. So even if you are not able to make it in the top 4, you can at least be in the semifinals. Teams from 5th to 12th spot move on to the semifinals directly, and the remaining teams will not be eliminated. Instead, they move on to the playoffs.
Here's the thing, if your goal is to remain at the top, that's when you'll end up in top 4. If your goal is to try for the top 4, that's when you'll end up in the top 8. Well, if you're aiming for the top 8, well, good luck facing the teams from Challenger Series.
Yeah, but then you look at teams like Phoenix Esports, what can you really do? The best possible thing for them is to aim for the top 12.
If you're talking about them, then yes.
We also need to consider the teams at the bottom page, man.
I mean, any team who's below 100 points right now, I think so. It's like a...
Only God can save them?
The thing is, the top teams are not really losing the momentum, so the bottom teams can't really catch up against them until...
That's going to happen. That's going to happen because of the power play and the impact player.
Exactly.
They're not going to lose the momentum. They will consistently keep on getting those points. But look at Trey Scott. Starboy's right in front. If Trey Scott wants, the man can just pull out a gun and shut down Starboy. But the only reason why he does not want to do that, because it's going to reveal his own position as well. But Trey Scott, you should have done it. That was a free point right there.
I think so. The only reason why he did not do it is because he does not know how many people Likitha Esports have. He's got no clue that it's actually Likitha Esports in front of him. So the other player could be anywhere behind any of the tree in front of him.
Yeah, but at least he had a chance to grab one elimination point away. Now he does not even have any of that. And there you go.
Yeah,
he's also spotted.
GG's. It's almost a GG now.
Hey, that's a life lesson right there. When you have the opportunity,
grab it.
Just grab it. Sometimes being too patient can actually mean you're lazy.
We have actually seen a lot of overly trigger discipline moments from quite a lot of players these days. I remember one in a couple of days ago on the map of Sanhok as well, which you and Shadow were casting.
I guess it's because of the greed as well. Everyone wants to make a massive play. Yeah. Everyone wants to get a quick 4-piece. And that's why they end up just messing everything up.
Right now, Jelly was knocked out, so True Rippers were also messing their chances up for this game, but Eventually back up on his feet as well. 4 players standing strong for True Rippers, but this one blue is going to push Marcos Gaming and True Rippers into an awkward place. And I'll have to say, it's going to be either NINZA and Marcos Gaming working together to finish off True Rippers, or it's going to be Likitha Esports and True Rippers working together to finish off Marcos Gaming.
Honestly speaking, Marcos Gaming should change their name to Surprise Gaming. Every single time, this team surprises me. The moment you think Marcos Gaming can't really win it, they somehow surprise all of us, and they just end up winning that game. It's been twice now they've done that. But Marcos Gaming, at least as of now, look at the esports on the tail.
Oh my god.
And somehow Trey Scott's still alive. Just do it! Pull the trigger, take the shots. The man is stable. This is the best possible opportunity you're going to have, unless the man's going to move on the opposite side of the ridge. That's when you'll mess up. And Trace, there's no way out from this spot.
Let it be, bro. Let it be. It's fine. The next circle is probably going to give you another chance at this point. NINZA don't really have a straight angle on him.
Yeah, at least as of now. But the zone, if it shifts away,
it will.
He needs to move out in the open.
It will shift away, because for the past 2 circle shifts, it's been on him. I know that gods of BGMI, they do favor you, but not that much.
Not when you're lazy.
It's a plot armor. You don't want to give him the plot armor.
True Rippers, the only concern for them are Marcos Gaming and the team right next to him, which is NINZA. Trey Scott might actually take care of Likitha Esports soon. Starboy once again right in front, and Trey Scott, he's locked him in sight, not executed yet. The man needs to terminate them. That's what he needs to do.
If only he had a 4x or a 6x, I think so he would have taken the shots. Because the first bullet
I still think it's pretty doable. It's not about 4x or 6x. I still think it's pretty doable.
I don't know, man. It's also on...
It is doable. Now it's not, since they're inside of a tree. Or behind a tree. It's quite tough to spot him. But Magic, he's moving downhill. Soon he's going to be too exposed to Trace. And that's when Trace can actually strike. There's
Trace.
Magic right underneath Trace! Oh, there we go. He's standing still. This is the best possible opportunity you're going to have. And there you go. He pulls the trigger. That's going to be the confirmation too. And this was the spoil we all wanted to see. Final man is well spotted, but Starboy, he still clings on. Look at the esports. 5 finishes racked up so far. Starboy, the saving grace.
But Revenant X-Park ending up in top 5 from all of that commotion towards the left bridge of military base. It's a big play. Getting 3 position points as well, and Trey Scott getting 7 finishes for himself. I'm pretty sure he's going to end up as the MVP of this game. But man, oh man, that was insane. And Starboy already ruining 1 game, now wants another one. Gyro got taken down on the knees. The
that
rotation
was a disgusting spray.
Yeah, rotation's not going to come, but True Rippers will try and pounce on this opportunity.
Of course they will. They're probably reading the elimination feed, and now they exactly know what's going on around them. Even Naughty falls down. True Rippers' third party is immaculate. They're finding a lot of value. There's still Starboy on the opposite side of the spectrum, and the man's continuously going for the shots. And True Rippers somehow still holding on. Finally now moving up close and personal, getting the elimination on top of Gyro God. Final man's going to be Superman from Marcos Gaming. And as long as this player's alive, you never know. He can definitely make a lot of super plays happen.
Couple of stranglers now remaining again from Marcos Gaming and from Likitha Esports. True Rippers, they either need to take this fight against NINZA and then win it. Catch all the stranglers. NINZA as well. They're trying to go in for that fight. Jelly has been taken down. Dragon, absolutely solid performance from the IGL of the other side as well.
No way.
Hydro still survives and catches 2 of them.
What a massive play from Hydro. This man is the reason behind True Ripper's success in this game. Keo falls down in the back. The man's also taking a lot of damage from the blue. I highly doubt he can survive, but NINZA,
Reaper.
They reply back. Reaper, he's here to reap the souls. And now another nade tossed out. That's going to be the confirmation on Jelly. No way for True Rippers to go for the revival and the reset. But NINZA, they can still save the day. Reaper, he can actually get the revival on his teammates. There's still Starboy all the way in the back lines. And there is still that one man from True Rippers. But this fight between NINZA and True Rippers, now it's getting extremely awkward. But Hirsch with that nade, he gets the confirmation. Hydro, the man will be revived, but now is the time when the man of Likitha Esports should go for the strike.
It's going to be a big one. He's got the time as well. All he does need is the first shot to be landed. HP is pretty low on the revive player of True Rippers, so Hirsch, He's going to be the man to try and hold it down, but the first aid is there on time. They pass themselves up. Now, Starboy, they're all playing at the edges. He's got the isolation as well. He sees one of them is in the hovercraft, but does he know where the second player is? Now, he should have an idea about both the vehicles.
Yeah, they've got the advantage, though. True Ripper's the man advantage is the biggest advantage you can ask for. And Starboy, he reveals his position with those shots. Utilities enhanced for True Rippers, and that's why Starboy tries to move away from that range. A few more utils tossed in this man's court. Starboy is also getting surrounded from the back lines now. Major crossfires being created. And True Rippers, they've got a big advantage inside of the positioning game. Starboy pushes up. He wants to isolate the duel against Hydro, and it's going to help him do that as well. But that nade's going to chip him down extremely low. Starboy, he does not have a lot of HP to sustain this battle, but Hydro, he will end it in the end. What a way to claim the chicken dinner. True Rippers, we thought they were lost in the sauce, but they finally make a comeback and prove what they're capable of.
Finally, after such a long time, when Jelly last gave the interview, he said he wanted to carry forward this momentum, and Harsh and Hydro will make sure that it happens. Big play coming in from True Rippers, taking the fight against NINZA, losing 3 members in the process, and then comes the positional reveal of Hydro with Harsh's precision nade. That was such a nice 1-2 play coming in, and that saved the day for them.
Especially another man actually moving up all the way in the back, creating that flank angle, while there was still Hydro right behind that tank, or hovercraft if you'd like to call it. Generally speaking, that's pretty much a tank, the amount of HP it has. But yeah, overall it was quite a brilliant play from the side of True Rippers. It's quite a solid play. Of course, taking down NINZA was probably the toughest key they wanted to unlock, and they actually did it pretty well as well.
That was the big thing coming in from their side, having the entire control and then moving in. It was a pretty calculated game from them.
Of course it was quite calculated. But hopefully NINZA makes a comeback in the future game. The God's Reign were the ones who were supposed to actually dominate this zone, but they got eliminated pretty early. For now, it's time for us to toss to a short break. You guys do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Do it like that. Do it like, do it like that. Do it like that. Do it like, do it like that. Do it like that. Do it like that. Like that. Do it like, do it like that. Do it like that.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test, proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
Welcome back after that short break. And yes, after that one thing is for sure, zones like that can definitely catch a lot of teams off guard. We all thought this might be God's Reign's game the moment we saw the zone pop all the way down south. But God's Reign, the way they got picked off, it felt like they were quite overconfident in that position.
I'm pretty sure Destro is also going to say the exact same thing to his team as well, right? Seems like they were not as solid as the Google Play Protect, which eventually keeps your apps and data safe, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you've got it all in your Android phones because it comes exclusively with that. Now, coming back to that discussion, Necro, yes, I agree. Because whenever it's the military-based zone, you always see God's Reign to have the full control of that island, have that entire advantage, right? But from the get-go, if you really looked at the center of the circle, it was Meta NINZA who occupied that. And to be honest, I expected them to win it, but it was an entire True Ripper show overall in the end.
Revenant X Park, yes, might not be able to survive for too long, but still, Trace God, with a lot of finishes on the board, sort of keeping the boys of Revenant X Park on a decent spot in the overall standings. 7 finishes racked up, 88% finish contribution. This man was the main playmaker for that team. And as we move on towards Joker as well, he's going to be the rescuer for them, getting 3 rescues. And then you've got another man from True Rippers right there, which is Hydro, getting 5 finishes racked up for himself.
The big thing is that Trace God himself alone has gifted his team 22 points. 4 finishes in the power play itself. He's the impact player. 16 points already. He gained 3 after that by finishing off that one strangler from Likitha Esports as well. So if you combine all of that, that's 22 points just from this one guy. I know I'm kind of spoiling the overall rankings there, or rather the match rankings there a little bit, but holy smokes, man! This dude was absolutely firing on all cylinders.
There's actually a big chance after such massive performance, they might have actually catapulted themselves in the top 4.
Yes.
Because they were just on the 5th spot before this game, and such a good game is actually going to help them breaching that top 4. It's a good news and a bad news as well. Now they're also going to have the bounty atop their head, so it's a whole different thing. But the way the action kicked off, it was quite awkward. We saw a bit of that cluster on the top left, where teams like God's Reign were also eliminated. Maichi lost Hermanos, unfortunately, as they tried to cross on. Even they got eliminated in that process. We did see True Rippers too, right around that same marker, but True Rippers, after claiming that chicken dinner, now the confidence is going to be on cloud 9.
They absolutely will be super happy about it. Look at that, 23 finish points overall in total. 22 out of those were from Trace God. 3
Insane.
position points coming in. 1 finish was also there from Fierce, if I'm not wrong. He was able to take down one member from Soul. That was legit. And that's why we're seeing 26 points. Absolutely insane. True Rippers, thanks to their chicken dinner as well. 24 points overall in total. Soul having a pretty decent game as well. 16 points coming in.
Los Hermanos right there with 14. You've got Likitha Esports 2 with 13. And the points just keep on descending downwards. The latter half of the board is also on the screen. A few concerning names. FS Esports. Man, the consistency is now fading away. You've also got VS right there with 0 points. Victoria Sumus as well. Yeah, a few games they do extremely good. A few games Victoria Sumus just completely drop down. And especially if you're one of those teams that is trying to execute that passive gameplay, you need to be consistent in every single game. You need to get those possible points flow.
That's where we are seeing the struggles coming in, even for Team Ardent, which you just mentioned. VS, yeah, they're on the struggling end as well. But on the other side of the spectrum now, you mentioned about it, Revenant X Park booming themselves up in the entire top 4 as well. So now you've got 3 teams with a bounty playing all the 4 games today, specifically 3. Soul, Revenant X Park and Orangutan. It's only Godlike who will not be here, but they'll be joining us on the map of Sanhok too. But once we move down onto the lower end as well, Aryan, yeah, they're at the 11th spot, but they still need quite a decent amount of points to actually barge in the top 4.
Meta NINZA 2 making slow and steady moves on the board. Victoria Sumus still on that same spot, not moving up, not moving down, just consistently in that same spot, pinned down. Matt Kings 2 right there in that same spot. And let's not forget, these teams, if they keep on moving up slowly and steadily, probably at the end of this week, we might just see them. We might just see them somewhere in the top 8.
Highly possible, right? There's 3 games still remaining, and a lot of these teams are the ones who are finally showcasing that consistency. But I still want to see the same thing from TWOB as well. They'll be playing the next 3 games as they're the part of Group B. NoNx too. We're seeing them all the way down on the bottom of the leaderboard, and it just seems like they haven't really found their own consistency. They had 1 game, but apart from that, yeah, we haven't seen them.
And I guess the real concern is also going to be about OG now. That lead is starting to fade away.
Yes.
And it feels like Soul is slowly and steadily catching up with that consistent performance. Will they actually catch up? It's still a major question mark for now. Let's move on to a short break.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12 gigabyte ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
The deserty lands of Miramar now wait for these players to set foot on it. And generally speaking, for all the teams that got eliminated off the rip, I'm speaking of Team Aryan and a few more names that followed up right after. Now is going to be the most important time where you need to shine through and perform. And speaking of the shine itself, TVS Raider is our mobility partner. Now that's a wicked upgrade. The TVS Raider iQOO brings segments first GTT digital cluster with 85 plus connected features, best in class torque, and now 9 crazy colors.
I'm pretty sure that your favorite one is going to be the black.
Of course. Or even the gray actually looks pretty good, right? Gray mixed up with black. Looks pretty badass, I'm not gonna lie.
I absolutely agree. And I'm the man who actually head over heels for those solid colors coming in. But I'm also head over heels for OnePlus 13R because this is a phone you would not want to miss out. And once you've got the ambassador, this cute model out there. I mean, yeah, look at that. It's very cute, man. It made me lose my own words.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to steal one away. But...
oh, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's pull a high star.
I agree.
Yeah. Let's take all of them away.
Should not really tell anyone else apart from us, but yeah.
And also the English audience. Guys, do not snitch on us, alright?
You're the good people out there.
We're going to take a few of these away. Possibly OnePlus 13R as well.
Don't reveal too much. Don't reveal too much of our plan.
Alright, cool. You know what though? What matters is the upcoming map itself. And what matters is the consistency of the top four. OG's lead now starting to fade away, and Seoul might just capitalize on it, or they might just claim that first spot after this game itself. OG needs to perform. The sword is on top of their necks. Can they do it? Let's find out the moment we step inside of this game itself, as the plane's now going to be in the sky, starting all the way from La Cabrera towards the southern side, which will be Minas del Valle.
Chumasera is right in the center as well, so OG are not going to have any problem. And considering no team tried to target them, yeah, I mean, as much as I want to see them on the top position as well, I know that I want to see some early fights, some early skirmishes too. My G-Lost Hermanos is the team that I always see, because they're the ones who we've termed as bounty hunters, always taking those early fights, always trying to pull up those bounties. This time they're actually going in the direction of Seoul. I love it. I absolutely love it. My G Los Hermanos is one of the most entertaining teams of BGMS Season 4. They always go for the early fight, so they're at least around a team who we know are eventually going to be targeted by them.
And this time here to claim the bounty, led on towards La Capraria. This is going to be fun. But once again, My G Los Hermanos, they need to make sure that it's going to be some quick work, not giving any chance for the players of Seoul to actually back away and escape the claws of My G Los Hermanos. Needs to be light and quick. They're here to claim the bounty towards La Capraria. And Seoul, the fact that the players have now spread out, it's a completely different story as well. Seoul might just redirect themselves towards a completely different spot, and My G Los Hermanos might just be left searching for them.
Could be possible right now, Goblin. Bit too close coming in. My G Los Hermanos is a team that could have taken them down right now, but another team that's facing the wrath of middle is TWOB. This team has been on the struggling end for quite a while. We did see Hunters pulling up some shots against them. Not in game itself, but rather during the first interview with Surain.
Yeah.
They're here to prove a point that what Hunters said did not matter. They're still here in BGMS. They're here to prove a point. And middle is the first hurdle.
It's insane if you think about it. Hunter's saying that TWOB do not deserve to be here in the Master Series. Stark statement.
For the performance that he's pulling, he can say that to even K9.
Of course he can. He absolutely destroyed them. But My G Los Hermanos, a bad start to the fight. A bit too overconfident in this scenario. Maybe they thought they can easily eliminate the players of Seoul, but let's not forget they've got legit. And this man is legit good.
Right now he wants to try and survive as well, because we know My G Los Hermanos are always there for answer as well. Knuckle.
It's the other way around.
Exactly. It's like My G Los Hermanos are more spread it out. And Seoul are the ones who are eventually hunting down the bounty hunters themselves. Joker moving all the way up. Oh my god, this could be a mistake. He needs to win this 1v1. Tries to go in for the shots as well, but Knuckle is down on his knees, so it's going to be a bit more difficult. 3 people now running it down on this one man upstairs.
3 against 1. I highly doubt the man's going to stand a single chance. And just like that, Seoul! Oh! The hunting party! Hunting down the bounty hunters. We all thought My G Los Hermanos, they would try to disrupt the flow of Seoul. But no, instead, legit, this man is confirming all the elimination points. That's 8 points right there. He's doing it in the power play, and he's also the impact player. And Shadow and Evil, both the players now need to clutch it out for the boys. Can they actually do it? Seoul, they've got all the 4 men standing. Massive man advantage in the hands of Seoul. Long range battle. Joker, this man is finding some insane taps. And he's also softening up the players. My G Los Hermanos, I highly doubt they're going to stand a single chance, but even Metal Esports, they're dropping down like flies. TWOB, they reply back pretty well, but Metal Esports not too far back. Scout falls down without doing any sort of damage. And now it's down to just Venom, the IGL. He's got a lot on his plate. Metal Esports messed up big time. And just like that, TWOB proving a point. Oh man, TWOB, they're here to sustain, they're here to survive, and they're here to make a stark statement in the overall standings. If they do manage to eliminate Metal Esports, this will definitely be a massive confidence boost.
Yeah.
And TWOB can actually perform much more better after this. It is one of those moments that TWOB was waiting for the longest. But let's keep this thing in mind. There's also Revenant X Park in the fray now. This third party from Revenant X Park will definitely take down both the teams. And that's what's happening. Fury's on the move. He shuts down Phantom. He shuts down Pucar. And TWOB's flow, it's on the verge of taking away. And that's what happens.
Big play coming in. Thanks to Revenant X Park right now. Middle survives for a little bit longer as TWOB has been taken down. But now Venom, he's got a different threat up on his face. He's got to try and survive through all of this onslaught. Sees the players jumping in as well. Both the shotguns in both the hands. So he can switch it up as well. Catches one, but is caught while switching the weapon. Nice timing from Revenant X Park and a complete third party from them. Not messing anything up right now, but Godsray definitely our flock. Still holding the angle down right behind that bus as well. Wants to move in up close and personal. Pump shotgun up in the hand, but it's the UMP that answers back from Destro. But it's still not enough for Diane. Justin, low, still standing strong as Neo completes the task. And it is Godsray to get those points in their hands.
It's happening all the way down south, by the way, towards Partona. What is this drop location, God's Reign? I understand they like to go all the way towards the right side, towards Puerto Paraiso, but still.
Seems like Impala was out of their reach this time around.
Yeah, they somehow switched the drop location up always.
Yeah, the plane was...
If there is no one around Impala or Puerto Paraiso, they always try to go for a bit of that split around the individual compounds of Puerto Paraiso too.
Exactly. So they normally spread out whenever the plane is way too far away. But I think so this confidence is coming because they do not have the bounty on top of their heads. And they can freely take the fight against the teams that they're ready for right now. NoNx, they're going to take the free fight as well. That's coming up their way.
Yeah, taking a fight.
Can they win? Oh my god, not like this.
Anonymous. Man taking a bit of that chip damage.
He saw that.
Yeah, luckily enough, his teammate's there. So he's going to save the day.
We saw
Give him that med kit. That first aid.
We saw
Patches himself up. Marcos Gaming, both the players now backing up. And there we go. The cavalry arrives. But look at Rapido. The man's already on the opposite side. He's got the flank angle available. And Maiji Los Hermanos now getting hunted down, the remaining players, by the players of FS Esports. FS, 4-man, pouncing on top of the players of Maiji Los Hermanos. A shadow falls down. A few of those scraps left over by Soul are now being claimed and hunted down by FS Esports. And these scraps, they can't do anything. Maiji Los Hermanos, they were here as the bounty hunters, but now they're getting hunted down by the entirety of the lobby.
They're going to try and survive. My question is, how did... Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Where the heck did Soul go? And why do Maiji Los Hermanos have 4 finishes? They ended up claiming a bounty of Soul when they were 2v4 down.
Wait, there's no way, right?
They did! That's why Soul is not there! Maiji Los Hermanos ended up claiming the bounty off camera while we were focusing on the fights elsewhere. I don't care about the fact that now they get picked off and finished off. They did their job.
Oh my god. Maiji Los Hermanos, what was that? How'd you do it?
I want to see the replays on that.
I want to see it as well. That was the fight that was supposed to be prioritized. But it's still not being prioritized.
Holy smokes, how... You'd never really think that, right? Yes, I understand. Nakul was the first one to be picked off because he was far away from his team.
It was a 2-on-4, simple. And they lost a 2-on-4. The Soul was moving in with so much confidence. But I guess this is another one of those examples where we know there's a thin line between confidence and overconfidence. And Maiji Los Hermanos, they punished him.
That's like how you don't really fight an inform OG. You just don't fight Maiji Los Hermanos on the drop clash. They're coming, trying to target you. Just change the direction. Run down on a random road, you'll find vehicle and you'll have a better chance of surviving than actually taking the fight against Maiji Los Hermanos. They'll always come out on top. This is, on paper or rather in experience, the best drop clashing teams that I have seen in such a long time.
Of course. Maiji Los Hermanos, I've always said this, next to Genesis Esports, somehow they're mechanically supreme than a lot of these teams inside of the lobby currently. Genesis Esports as well, the moment you see this team on the hunt, you know they will find a lot of value. And Maiji Los Hermanos, the same thing can be said for them as well. 4v4 fights, extremely solid.
Insane.
But that was a 2-on-4 fight, and that was still pretty solid. And hunting down a team like Soul is not an easy task. Yeah, they have only got 1 man left right now, but just imagine the amount of points they were able to claim out of that one battle. That's 18 points right there. Even if they get eliminated right now, it's completely fine.
I'm super happy about it. All they need are just some position points. Again, maybe the last remaining member can pull something like what Trace God did previously. And we know Evil to be very much capable of doing that as well. Just trying to get a few kits as well. Be it the first aids or be it something else. He's got a few crates left around here and there lying up. Not a lot of stuff remaining. Still, he's going to try and claim some of that. This is probably where the rest of the members of Soul were taken down. They themselves do not have a lot of utils, so
yeah, I mean,
fine.
It was a draw fight off the rip. And I guess that's why we saw FS Esports as well move on and third party that in the end.
Yes.
What happened there, though? I just want to see a replay of that. I'm so curious. I just want to know what happened in that area.
some legendary battles are lost in the annals of history.
They're supposed to be covered,
Sometimes
not revealed.
Sometimes the only witness is the finish feed.
And the god.
Finish feed and the god. I agree.
But for now...
This god?
Yeah,
Hello?
OG. A strong team, a strong contender this time. Getting ripped apart by True Rippers. And Aru as well closes on up. I'm not exactly sure if that's the best possible entrance for Aru. But OG, they found themselves in the worst possible pickle. And Aru, he makes the entrance. He definitely does want to deal a lot of damage against the Blessed True Rippers, at least find the equalizer. But Aru, he's now isolated all by himself against the 3 men. Standing his own ground's going to be extremely tough. And OG, they're losing the grip. They're losing this battle. OG might be kicked outside of this game with 0 points. And that's what's happening so far. They're down to just Athanki, the only glimmer of hope standing. And even if this man actually escapes and tries to play it safe, I highly doubt he's going to be able to create a lot of difference in the overall standings. Soul's got 181 points, and OG's got 187. Oh, that gap is next to none, just 6 points away.
And Revenant X-Park are pretty close by as well, if you think about it. 175 already. So that means they're going to be moving up as well. Athanki, the only thing that the man did was to deny the bounty. Nothing else. And he's got 22 bandages for himself. Guess what, True Rippers? They know this is a bounty team. And they want to hunt him down. The question is, have they spotted the vehicle? Yes, they absolutely have. Jelly has realized. He's going to call his boys as well. Athanki, you can try and dodge the battle, but you cannot dodge the war. As he blows himself up to deny the bounty. You can talk as much as you want about how numerically correct that decision was, but he ran away from a fight. He chickened out.
No, I think he did the right thing.
It's obviously the right thing.
He did the right thing. He did the best possible thing the man could do.
I'm just trying to rage bait, man. It's fine.
Yeah, he denied 10 points right there. That 2 additional 10 points.
I agree.
Yeah, he did it perfectly well, and he was supposed to do it. He did his job.
Here's the thing, that's still True Rippers will get the 10 points. I don't think so. It's a big problem considering they're just so far behind in the ranking.
But still, it's a team making a bounce back. And True Rippers can be a potential threat if they actually do qualify in the grand finals. Why give them a chance?
Fair. I just feel that if it was any other team right away from Marco's Gaming going all the way up, yeah, that's kind of fair. You would want to deny the bounty points. Otherwise, maybe just going for the fight. What if you can pull something what Hunter's pulled off?
I know, right?
That's the whole thing, right? That's the Hunter mentality. That's what I wanted to see.
Oh, that mentality right there. It's go big or go home, straight up.
Exactly.
And Hunter always makes sure that it's the opponents that go home.
He's farming clips, man. He's absolutely farming clips.
Hey, you've got so many days of competition. Why would you not play for clips? I would have done the same thing if I was a player.
See, now I've ended up rage baiting you into thinking that it would have been better if you would have taken the fight.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever.
Gaslighting to its maximum.
No, but I still think that was the right decision he did. If
was.
I was in that scenario, look, I would have done the same thing.
You would have fought.
What are the
What
are the odds of Athanki actually coming out on top against the 4 remaining players of True Rippers?
Are you doubting him?
Impossible.
Are you doubting him?
I'm not doubting him. I'm just saying the odds are pretty low. Why are you supposed to take the odds that you do not know you are confirmed going to win?
Hunter's had pretty low odds as well.
Look, OG's already doing really good. If OG was someone that was not doing good, then maybe they would have actually went for that 1 out of 4 possibility. But OG's already at the top. How top can you be? OG's literally the epitome.
And the fun fact is right now they're at 187. If Revenant X-Park get 10 more points out of this and maybe just a few more finishes, they're going to make a big bounce over them. And this would be the first time in the previous 5 to 7 days.
Absolutely. Revenant X-Park. The 2 players in the front of Team Aryan. The previous game was absolutely in shambles. But Team Aryan now, the defensive playstyle they wanted to execute, it might not work out once again. They've only got 2 men standing. And at this point in time for Team Aryan, in my opinion, just go for the fights. Take the advantage of the bounty system, take the advantage of the power play, and prove what you've got. Team Aryan definitely does have the firepower. They definitely do have the guts but they just need to step in the playing field in the power play. That's all they need to do. And Team Aryan's messing up every single time, by the way.
I remember last time when they were on this map itself as well, right? The first Erangel was a big conversion for them. And then the map of Miramar, a top 5 finish with pretty good amount of eliminations. Now they're just on the struggling end again. As you said, not really utilizing the power play, facing those struggles. Bit of a problem, but looking at the circle right now, finally. A lot of teams occupying those compounds, but special position go in for NINZA again. In a place where they can try and utilize that circle.
Once again, a lot of open terrains in this zone as well, but a few isolated compounds available too. And up for grabs. Majority of the good compounds are already taken. One of them is also going to be God's Reigns compound. They like to play from the edges, and once again executing that same play style. You've got FS Esports on the left side, but keep this thing in mind, FS Esports, they've got the most amount of control of the zone. They control the top left. And there's only 2 teams in front of them, that's NoNx and NINZA. And NINZA, we all know, they're going to be shelled up, probably camping that same spot till the end, playing for the chicken dinner. That's how they like to play, defensive.
20, 22 points, something what they like to target. Getting 10, 12 finishes. Nothing more than that. They'll be holding all of that space down. Now, after all of that early aggression and all the things covered, teams have slowed down entirely. Don't really want to drop the ball out there, but Roman has been moving a bit too close to both the teams out there. NoNx and NINZA. Not quite sure if he wants to stay in that position. Rushboy, Lovish, Levi, all of them are miles away from him. And circle falls onto him as well as Rushboy and Lovish. They're going to be happy about it. But Marcos Gaming, Victor Sumus, they're going to have to face the wrath of Revenant X-Park once they want to try and barge in, along with True Rippers trying the exact same thing.
FS Esports, the split they've got can actually be a game-winning split. Only if the zone keeps on supporting them. At least as of now, though, it is. And that's a good thing. FS Esports having a lot of intel. NINZA in the front, grouped up, shelled up. To break through, to crack through NINZA's defense, they need to find the first opener. And that's where the real struggle lies. FS Esports is playing from the edges, which is not a good thing. They need a bit more of that control. They have a spread, and only control is the visual control. They do not have it physically.
You know, with the way how FS is playing on that western edge, that's where we normally saw Aryan play. They normally take care of the western edges. Right now, True Rippers trying to make a mad dash right from the southern end, and that's where God's Reign are trying to stop them. Already firing a lot of those shots as well on those rotating vehicles. They're still getting the knocks. Back and forth we go. But the answer's coming in from Likitha Esports. They're trying to go for the third party as well in the bit of the members of God's Reign. That's a bit of a problem right now. Revenant X-Park versus VS. And RNTX absolutely destroy them. Losing only 1. Still keep 3 alive.
Victor Sumus down and out. Revenant X-Park supreme in that fight. But God's Reign for them. The Blues on the move, and Neo needs to be on the move as well. With his teammate, the man needs to reunite, push themselves inside of the zone. The future terrain's quite exposed, and God's Reign now in a big question mark. They do not know what to do. If God's Reign decide to leave this compound, one thing is for sure, there will be a lot of bullets raining on top of them, but True Rippers, they directly want to slam their vehicles against the defensive hut of FS Esports. And FS, they're already hurt. At this point in time, True Rippers do have the man advantage of close and personal, but still, having players like Roman can actually save the day. But Hirsch, it's not going to matter for a man like that. He straight up pushes up, shuts down the players of FS Esports. And FS, they don't stand a chance. But look at the Esports now starting to create that flank angle. It's Smoker who moves up close and personal, but Hirsch has known his position. As Smoker now goes prone once again. It's a bad spot to be in for Smoker, but if this nade lands, it's going to turn into an advantageous spot. Smoker's out in the open, quite exposed. He's also taking a lot of damage.
Harsh is the only man who's surviving for his team. He managed to get them the big WWCD in the previous one. And he's got to save the day for his team even now. Look at the esports. All the 4 members standing, creating the full commotion out there. Levi as well. He wants to try and hop back into this fight. He wants to take the revenge.
True Rippers. Luckily enough for them, they've actually survived one of the worst possible scenarios. FS Esports for them, they had everything to play with. But True Rippers, all it took for them was that one threat in the needle. That's it.
Insane.
At the moment they found that first knock, FS Esports just completely fell apart like the domino effect. And now Levi, the only man standing with a double-barreled shotgun and the AR. I don't think it's going to be able to make a lot of difference. It's going to be tough. Just 2 bullets in that double-barreled shotgun. You need to make every single count. It's quite tough.
S686, not really the best to try and hold a form and push. That's why people normally prefer either the S12K or maybe the DBS right now. TWOB still trying to fire in some of those shots as well. Super low in that HP. How long can you try and play cat and mouse? Not long enough, as the floor is lava. And how ironic that it's Hydro to make it all fire ahead. But what a nade from Devotee. Catching 2 already from Marcos and Cyrax combined. They force Superman in an awkward position and they will claim his life too. Team Aryan destroying Marcos Gaming, but only getting 2 in the process.
Team Aryan, yeah, they won that fight, but not a proper battle. Just getting 2 elimination points out of that, it's not going to be that rewarding. Revenant X-Park, 3 men standing, a man advantage against the entirety of Team Aryan. And Team Aryan pinned. It's not a good spot to be in. Team Aryan, the only way they can break through the shackles of Revenant X-Park is if they find a return knockout, which sounds extremely tough. 3 men of Revenant X-Park. Even they're surrounded by a few foes around them. There's also God's Reign right next to him. And if God's Reign actually peeks out from this angle, Revenant X-Park's quite exposed. But luckily enough, they've tossed out those smokes, and that's saving the day for them. Justin, he wants to constantly keep on applying that pressure. Sensei's behind the rock as well. And Revenant X-Park just want to reap the players of Team Aryan. Cyrax is out in the open. He's got that Rich, and that's the only thing that's saving him, at least as of now. Revenant X-Park, they know the sideline's not too clear. It's God's Reign on the left. And Revenant X-Park, that's why they're constantly tossing out the utilities, but soon they might just run out of those smokes, and that's where the real problem will start to create.
I still feel that it's... Likitha Esports will actually have a good advantage. It's either a Likitha Esports game or it's a Meta NINZA game again. One of those teams to eventually clutch it out. As long as they do not lose the members. NoNx are going to be pretty busy focusing their entire attention with the one strangler from Aryan, Cyrax, as Devotee moves a little bit more closer towards the center. If it's a central shift of the circle, both Revenant X-Park and True Rippers are going to be on a receiving end. But eventually, the only 2 solid places, the only 2 solid compounds are occupied by Meta NINZA and Likitha Esports. This circle shift is going to be big. Oh, holy
Max center.
Smokes.
In the open ground, the only player with the maximum advantage is Devotee.
Good luck.
And unfortunately for the man, he does not even have his teammate nearby. Defending that ground's going to be tough, and Devotee's ult's going to be the center of attraction soon if he takes any sort of shots. The man needs to keep his position anonymous. Needs to stay silent. Look at the esports now, taking shots against True Rippers, and Keo moved out in the open. Not sure what the man was doing, but True Rippers, they're not someone who's going to stay silent just like that. They find a return knock, a trade against Smoker. And look at the esports. Even they're in hot water now. There is that revival that's being stuck, but True Rippers, they really do make a quick pounce, grabbing their vehicles on the compound, and Magic, he's already got the revival. And with the help of his teammate Smoker, they get the knock. True Rippers down to just one man. And Hydro, he needs to pull off a miraculous clutch once again. This nade needs to be on point. Does chip out a bit of that damage, but that damage is not enough to get the knock. Look at the Esports. All the 4 players are on the board. This has to be their fight easily.
It's only one man remaining, Hydro, and he's just trying to struggle himself back down into the circle right now. Devotee 1v1, but it's Trace to shut him down. Couldn't really save the life of his teammate out there, but he's still surviving with Sensei, the big brains, the IGL. And he steals away the position of Devotee. That means Cyrax will need to make his move, otherwise he will be out in the blue and he'll be taken down. NoNx have decided to take their fight against the members of Meta NINZA themselves.
Revenant X-Park is actually doing pretty good. The only problem is they do not have a solid cover to play with, no compounds. They've only got those vehicles, and soon the vehicle right behind Sensei will be blown up as well. NoNx, now they push up against the players of Meta NINZA, and Meta NINZA as well. They finally realized that the blue's on the move. It's time to take the fight now. It's the go call. You cannot keep on playing passive the entire time. You need to turn on the switch of aggression, and that's what they do. The switch is now flipped. The tables can be flipped anytime as well, as Reaper, he finds a beautiful connection with that nade. Handicapping NoNx. Kana is taken down extremely low as well. A few more utilities tossed out from Meta NINZA. And that's really keeping the players of NoNx on the pay. The amount of damage that's being inflicted against NoNx, they just can't really do a lot. As Kana gets ran over, Meta NINZA now having the massive man advantage in their hands. And this can be a flawless conversion. And that's what happens.
But now they've got to bring their men back up on their feet as well. But this is the best chance to do all of that. Because God's Reign, Revenant X-Park, they're going to be locking horns against each other. No one really ready to capitalize onto the knocked members of Meta NINZA. As Sensei falls down, it's all in the hands of Trace God. Can he try and pull it back from Neo and Justin, who's trying to figure out his position as he gets Justin first? That's a big play coming in from Trace. Insane from this dude. As he still catches one, Starboy will push him out and they will finish at the 4th place as Cyrax still survives. But it's now the big fight. Meta NINZA or Likitha. Meta NINZA have had their sweet tooth for the winner chicken dinner. But Likitha Esports are yet to taste it.
Likitha Esports was also one of those names that was taken. And they were said that they do not deserve to be here in the Master Series. And now look at them. Likitha Esports on the verge of conquering the lands of Miramar and making a mark for themselves too. Proving why they deserve to be here. Why they deserve to play on this stage. And Meta NINZA, their Miramars have been extremely good. Even yesterday we saw Meta NINZA do pretty good on the Miramar. Day before yesterday as well, Meta NINZA claimed a chicken dinner. And now on this Miramar, they're on the verge of claiming a chicken dinner. Cyrax's skull, it's still being spotted. That's a little pixel. Cyrax peeks up, and he instantly gets eliminated by the play zone. That elimination point was not claimed by Meta NINZA. That's going to be a bit of a stinger. But Meta NINZA now, they need to spread out. They need to move in tandem, punish the players of Likitha Esports. And that's what they're trying to do. But Meta NINZA, they're also dropping down bodies, which is not a good thing. Likitha having the man advantage inside of the fight as Meta NINZA now want to push up and punish Smoker. But Smoker, he's got a great cover to play with. A nade tossed out. That's going to get the knockout. Final 2 men of Meta NINZA. Make that one. Reaper's the only man standing, but not anymore. As Meta NINZA has been wrapped up in Likitha Esports. They explode with a chicken dinner.
Beautifully cooked up nade as well in the last shot. Perfect. Magic doing his own things as well. Standing up and getting the first knock with the opener. Putting Meta NINZA on the back foot and Likitha Esports on the front. Phenomenal performance, and boy, on the last day of week 1, they get the chicken dinner.
Likitha Esports was one of that name that was pointed out, saying that they do not deserve to be here in the BGMS Season 4. But now, they make a massive statement, and it's quite the stark one.
What an answer.
Likitha Esports, a solid chicken dinner. What a way to end the day on the map of Miramar. This is what Likitha Esports was searching for. Young guns, they do have a lot of potential. Mechanics are on point as well. But sometimes team play can be an issue. But in this game, they held the position down pretty well. Proved themselves right. took the fights in the right sequence, and ended up winning this game. Having a look at the final blow and the final V moments, this one important knock was extremely instrumental. Magic finding that first knock and then Smoker up close and personal, just blowing them up absolutely well. Let's move on to the stage for a quick interview.
दिन के शुरुआत में ही there was a lot of drama. मसाला बहुत था क्योंकि जब यहाँ पे हंटर्स और AQOP आए थे, शायद आप कास्टर्स से भी सुन रहे थे, there was a lot of talk about which teams are deserving, which teams are not. और यहाँ पे अब जो चिकन डिनर मिला है वो उन टीम्स ने जीता है जो उन 4 टीमों में से एक थी, and that is Likitha Esports. Congratulations! आप लोग चिकन डिनर तो उठा चुके हैं, बट डिड यू हियर द कॉन्वर्सेशन जब हमने दिन की शुरुआत की थी, where AQOP and हंटर्स ने कहा था that he feels that Likitha Esports उतनी डिजर्विंग नहीं है as maybe some of the teams that are in the challengers. क्या ये स्टेटमेंट है?
क्या ही बोलूँ, उसको अच्छा खेल रहा है तो बोलेगा ही, ठीक है. मेरी टीम अच्छा नहीं खेल रही तो मेरे को कुछ बोलना नहीं है. एक्चुअली अभी मैं अपनी टीम पे वर्क कर रहा हूँ तो ज़्यादा बोलना नहीं मेरे को, बस मैं आया हूँ कि प्रूफ करना है मेरे को. अभी वो तो बोलेंगे, ऑब्वियस सी बात है यार, वहाँ पे सीके खेल रही है, RNTT मतलब अभी तो VXT है, वो ऐसी टीम्स खेलते तो ऑब्वियसली कोई भी बोलेगा कि डिजर्विंग है वो लोग, और मैं भी बोलता हूँ कि डिजर्विंग है वो लोग, ठीक है. तो मेरे को बुरा लग रहा है लोग वहाँ पे खेल रहे हैं, बट यार हम लोग भी डिजर्व करते हैं भाई इधर पे खेलना. मेहनत करके आए हैं, ऐसी थोड़ी आए हैं कि उठ के आगे खेल लें.
I understand that and obviously emotions जो है they must be running high. लेकिन आपने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले बोला कि हाँ उतना अच्छा नहीं खेल रहे थे, तो उस पर आ जाते हैं. ऑफ कोर्स चिकन डिनर इट्स अ बिग थिंग, लेकिन अभी भी रास्ता बहुत लंबा है और शायद आपने उसकी तरफ पहला कदम लिया है. कहाँ चूक हो रही थी अभी तक?
फिलहाल तो यार अभी उस पर हमारा थोड़ा टीम कोऑर्डिनेशन पे दिक्कत हो रहा है, उस पर पूरा ट्राई कर रहे हैं. उसी की वजह से पूरे मैचेस हमारे खराब जा रहे थे. हमारे को कभी बीट ही नहीं हुआ जोन लेने में या फिर कोई फाइट्स में, बट वही है थोड़ा टीम कोऑर्डिनेशन में दिक्कत हो रहा है, उसी पे वर्क कर रहे हैं. और अभी भी मैं तो गेम में माइक इनको म्यूट करके खुद कॉल दे रहा हूँ मेरे को, क्योंकि दिक्कत हो रहा है, इनकी इतनी भसड़ वाली कॉल आ रही है, इसलिए मैं इनको म्यूट करके ही कॉल दे रहा हूँ.
ओके, एक आखिरी सवाल. देखिए ये फॉर्मेट जो है इसमें बहुत सारे एस्पेक्ट्स हैं, और जो टीम्स अभी बिल्कुल टॉप पर चल रही हैं, चाहे वो OG हो गई, गॉडलाइक हो गई, सोल हो गई, चिकन डिनर ना भी जीते हैं लेकिन फॉर्मेट का फुल भरपूर फायदा उठा रहे हैं. क्या वहां पे अभी भी थोड़ा सा बैलेंस जो वो नहीं बैठा है? फॉर्मेट को पूरी तरह समझ के इम्पैक्ट, बोनस, इनका आप 100% फायदा नहीं उठा पा रहे?
एक्चुअली हम लोग ने उसका स्टार्टिंग जोन में फाइट का तो ट्राई किया है, हम लोग फायदा उठा रहे हैं, बट वो फेवर में नहीं जा रहा है अभी. तो उसके लिए फेवर में जाने के लिए थोड़ा और मतलब मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, तो वो कर ही रहे हैं. और अभी जाएगा, धीरे धीरे जाएगा, ऐसा तो नहीं कि एक बार में चला जाएगा. तो कर रहे हैं, ट्राई कर रहे हैं, होगा.
खेल की यही खूबसूरती है, अगर आपकी कोई आलोचना करे तो उनको चुप कराने का सिर्फ एक ही तरीका है, कामयाब बनो. लिखिता ई-स्पोर्ट्स ने कर दिखाया. मैच 1 में उनको मिली है जीत और मैच 2 में उनको मिली है जीत. वापस आएंगे थोड़ी देर में.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12 gigabyte ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day for OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test, proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
बिगिनिंग हमेशा नहीं था स्टार यूसी लेने से पहले सोचता था 100 बार डर था बड़ा स्कैम्स का डाउट थे हजार तो प्ले ओपी आया तो लगाई नया पर तो मैंने लिया यूसी सेव गेम किया रेस प्ले मेरे साथ यहाँ ड्रॉप्स एकदम हार्ड प्ले तेरे साथ ओपी तू भी कर ले स्टार्ट
Likitha Esports proving exactly why they deserve to be here in the BGMS Season 4 after that chicken dinner. But Shadow, a few names now starting to fizzle outside of that top 4. Not exactly outside, but I'm speaking of OG. They've lost that lead.
In both the maps, if you remember, in the map of Erangel also, Orangutan was not really feeling that comfortable. But few names have started propelling themselves, just like the players of Likitha Esports. Even Team Aryan tried to do a lot but couldn't do much. But Los Hermanos, my G, that bounty which they claimed on the players of Team Soul, that is definitely going to help their case in the overall ranking.
Yeah, and unfortunately we didn't even get to see that. It was a proper 2v4 that they executed. Somehow got the bounty as well against the players of Soul. That was absolutely impressive. And the best possible part about that it happened in the power play. That's going to be 18 points right there for Mikey Los Hermanos. And with this consistency and with this rate that Mikey Los Hermanos is moving, it feels like they might just end up in the top 4.
Could be possible, highly possible. They just need one more good game and they can be in the top 4. But if they are in the top 4, someone has to move out of top 4, and that could also be the players of Team Orangutan. But True Rippers, they're also having a gala time today. First chicken dinner, then second Miramar high finish game. And MVP has to be Harsh with 5 finishes and 63% finish contribution.
Solid stuff from Harsh with 5 finishes, as you mentioned, and 63% finish contribution. But as we move on towards the start of the match, there's also going to be Neo from God's Reign being the best companion. And then you've also got Smoker right there being the finisher too from Likitha Esports. With the way things are going for Likitha Esports, in that interview Smoker said that he's muting his own teammates and he's the one to give the call. I'm not exactly sure if that's the best possible way you would want to try and enhance your team play. Because if you're just not listening to your teammates' call-outs, then that's a big problem. He said that there's a lot of commotion that's going on in the comms. Maybe you try and calm them down. Maybe you try and tell them that, guys, don't spam calls. Just give me call once and I will try to react on it.
I'm sure they're going to take your suggestion in account and maybe things will get better for Likitha Esports, but things are already starting to get better. Hey, if it's working for you, no need to mend it. And if it is working for the players of Likitha Esports, good to go, I think.
Hey, but something that's not working for Team Aryan is the performance. For some reason, it's been missing. And looking at the highlights too, Team Aryan, they were there in the few final moments, but at the end of the day, it does not even matter. Team Aryan lost 2 of their players off the rip. They did manage to take down the entirety of Marcus Gaming, but they only got 2 points out of that fight. And Team Aryan is also another one of those teams that is not able to take the advantage of the bonus cards. They're not taking advantage of the power play. They're not taking advantage of the bounty system. Team Aryan wants to play that defensive and the passive gameplay, but they're always getting picked off in the mid-pack.
That's not going to work for the players of Team Aryan. So far in the overall ranking, also they are struggling. They really need to take advantage of the power play and the bounty system as well. But looking at the match ranking, Likitha with 22 points, definitely going to catapult themselves in the overall ranking.
Wow.
Revenant Spark is someone who has been super consistent today. In the first match, 23 or maybe 26 points to their name and 19 in the map of Miramar.
Hey, Soul, even though they got eliminated the first in that game, Still getting 8 points right there. It's quite impressive from Seoul, and it's all thanks to Legit, since the man was the impact player, and he was the one to take down, mind you, Los Hermanos. But of course, Los Hermanos executing a 2v4, claiming the bounty on top of the players of Team Seoul. That was absolutely outstanding. I wish we get to see the replay of that maybe in the future on Instagram or the socials, but I really want to see the replay and figure out what exactly happened in that circumstance. Moving on towards the overall standings, OG is currently at the top once again, but the lead is now next to none. It's Revenant X Park moving real close, just 1 point separating them from overtaking OG, and this will be historic.
Even the point difference between the players of Seoul and OG is not that much. It's only 6 point difference. So even Seoul can topple over the players of Orangutan. In Hero Extreme God, like they are yet to play their games. So maybe there is a possibility that OG can actually be pushed out of top 4.
The groups are now going to switch, which means Hero Extreme Godlike will now be in the playing.
Yeah.
And there's a big chance even Hero Extreme Godlike, the moment they crack in, there's a massive chance they might just get a chicken dinner. It's the map of Sanhok. We will, of course, see a lot of hunting parties going on. A lot of teams will try to take the advantage of the bounty system as well, hunt down those teams. And I hope we will see those aggressive bunch like Genesis Esports once again pull off those weird shenanigans. Hunters yesterday pulled off a major clutch against K9 Esports, and once again these two teams will be duking it out in the future games.
For sure, that rivalry is going to be there, but K9 Esports, they are struggling in the overall ranking, but someone who is elevating themselves, who's climbing the leaderboard, are the players of True Rippers. In the first one, they got a chicken dinner. In the map of Miramar also, it was a very high fragging game for the players of True Rippers. And Necro, before the show started, I was actually having a talk with Kyo Lamau, and the moment he saw me, the first statement was, "We are going to get a chicken dinner today." In the first match, they get the chicken dinner. He was that confident.
You gotta love the confidence from a man like Kyo Lamau, and of course you would love to see that confidence too from Kyo, right? He's been there inside of the pro circuit for the longest, and he deserves to have that confidence, and he should have that confidence. If a man like Kyo Lamau and if a team like True Rippers is not having the confidence, then that's a big sign of concern. That really makes you question, do they really deserve to be here? But since True Rippers is doing good, of course that's something they were supposed to do. Of course that performance, they deserve it. But something that you guys are supposed to do is also take that Duolingo English test, because it's also certified by 6,000 plus universities and accepted by them. So I'd recommend you guys to move on and take that test.
Well, we both have already taken that test, but Scared is a laid-back guy. He's yet to take his test. I'm sure he's going to take it very soon, but now that you mentioned that Hero Extreme Godlike and the entire group is going to coming in the map of Sanhok, so maybe Hero Extreme Godlike, the confidence which they are having, yesterday they missed on the map of Sanhok, maybe today they can get it, a chicken dinner.
Let's hope that Hero Extreme Godlike is also able to bring them that consistency, since now OG is at their all-time low, and that's the most important thing. The moment you know the table toppers are not feeling themselves, that's the time you're supposed to move up and break their confidence. Because I'm pretty sure, speaking of breaking the confidence, yesterday Hunters with that 1-on-4, he definitely broke the confidence of K9 Esports, and you clearly saw at the start of the day as well. Their faces were not looking that great. K9 Esports was not happy with what happened to them yesterday.
Of course, anyone who would have to face that such a situation is not going to be happy, but it also gives a lesson to the players that you can't underestimate a single individual. Even a single individual is able to pull off a 1v4. Yes, you wanted bounty points. Yes, you were greedy for those points, but you can't underestimate anyone in the entire lobby.
We're seeing so many clutchy moments inside of the BGMS Season 4, right? The names just keep on going on. The moments just keep on going on. We also did see that 2v4 executed against Seoul. Yeah, these moments are, of course, great, but let's move on to the stage for the interview.
Alright, so we have Raiden with us. So Raiden, आज सुनने में आप आईजीएल कर रहे हो?
आज सोम थोड़ा बिजी था तो आज मैं आईजीएल कर रहा हूँ टीम का।
प्रेशर फील हो रहा है?
नहीं, प्रेशर तो नहीं है, मैं पहले आईजीएल कर रखा हूँ। जब मैं अपनी पुरानी टीम में आईजीएल था तो ऐसा प्रेशर वैसे तो कुछ नहीं है।
अभी you have big shoes to fill, right? सोमराज and then now you.
नहीं, मतलब वैसे भी मेरा रोल ऐसे फिल्टर का है, तो लाइक वो आदत है मेरे को कि लाइक मैं भी टीम संभालता हूँ कभी कभी, तो लाइक वो आदत है मेरे को, ऐसा आईजीएल में कर लूँगा।
चलो ये तो बढ़िया है। अभी सुबह का इंटरव्यू देखा था क्या?
हाँ देखा था मैंने।
तो बोला गया है कुछ टीम्स के लिए कि भाई दे डोंट डिजर्व टू बी हियर, यहाँ नहीं होना चाहिए इनको। आपसे जानना चाहूँगा आपके थॉट्स ऑन द टीम्स दैट आर प्लेइंग इन बीजीएमएस। क्या सही में आपको लगता है ऐसी टीम्स हैं जिनको यहाँ नहीं होना चाहिए?
देखो, ऐसा है कि जितनी भी टीम्स यहाँ पे सारी डिजर्विंग है, सब अच्छा खेलते हैं, इसलिए उनको स्लॉट मिला। लेकिन जैसे वीएक्सटी और सीके को मतलब मास्टर सीरीज में स्लॉट मिलना चाहिए था, क्योंकि वो भी डिजर्विंग टीम्स है। बाकी मतलब जितनी भी टीम है सब डिजर्विंग टीम है, सब अच्छा खेलते हैं।
चलिए ये तो बढ़िया है, लेकिन अगर आप वीएक्सटी और सीके को यहाँ लाओगे तो किसको बाहर भेजोगे? Ooh, all right. That is perfect, I guess. But Raiden, thank you so much for this amazing short conversation, man. Good luck for your matches.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Unlock the Dravian X suit starting at 10 UC on BGMI. Limited time offer on Google Play.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock the Dravian X suit starting at 10 UC on BGMI. Limited time offer on Google Play.
It's the second last game of the day, and the map of Sanhok will boot up soon on the screen. And as we know, it's also the third map where the group will be switched. Now we will see Group C in action, where teams like Hero Extreme Godlike were waiting to enhance and unleash their gameplay, next to teams like Genesis Esports and K9 Esports, who will also be a part of the action. But teams who will continuously start performing will be teams like OG, NINZA, God's Reign, Revenant X Park, Marcos Gaming, Soul, and TWOB. 3 teams with the bounty on top of their skull. Shadow, you think this will be the time where they will sustain it, or will they break?
I think they're going to break this time. This is the map of Sanhok. It's so unpredictable. I'm sure someone is going to try and claim that bounty points. But we have been talking so much about the rivalries, and seems like all the rivalries are in the Group C itself. Group C is actually a group of rivalries.
Group B seems like the group of death, and Group C seems like the group of rivalries. That's one of the great titles to give, but we got Mad Kings flashing on the screen. And Mad Kings, yeah, consistency-wise, not the best, but we do see those poppy plays once in a while from Mad Kings, and that's something that really separates these boys from the lobby. They're not doing too bad in the overall standings. They are quite comfortable, and let's not forget, especially for teams like Hero Extreme Godlike, yeah, they are there in the top 4. Now they need to sustain that spot or either take over the place of OG.
And maybe they can actually do that, but all the viewers in our audience can actually earn rewards on the Google Play points. I'm sure Necro has got a lot of points, even I've got too many points, but we also have got Sensei on our screens, and Revenant X Park has been getting so many points today.
Yeah, surprisingly, Sensei and the boys doing extremely good. And honestly speaking, this is what we expected. In the past couple of tournaments, Revenant X Park, or also known as Wildfangs in the back, this team was not able to do that great. But now that they're back in red hot form, you love to see it.
Even the players of iQOO Soul are also looking in red hot form. Yes, few mishaps happened on the map of Miramar, but hey, let's be honest, they got enough points. They do have good amount of points in their backpack, so I think iQOO Soul are going to be pretty happy, and Goblin is actually looking happy. But someone who is going to be more happy are the players of Meta NINZA.
But I feel like now the pressure is going to be on top of the skulls of OG. That lead is faded away, just 1 point separating them from the team on the second spot. And if OG wants to continue this cushion, they need at least more than 15 points. Which for OG does not seem like it's going to be that tough. They can definitely do it. But you never know, man. OG's been fizzling out. The consistency is sort of taken away from them. They do not really have that proper wind of the sails. So it definitely does feel like OG will start to struggle. But hey, you know what? I've heard that we've also got a quick interview lined up with Robin from God's Range. So let's move on and take a look at that video.
अच्छा, शुरू में तो आपकी टीम की परफॉर्मेंस लाजवाब थी, पर अभी क्यों खराब खेल रहे हैं? मसला क्या है?
तो साल की शुरुआत तो हमारी बहुत अच्छी हुई थी और जैसे हमने एक इवेंट विन किया था, फर्स्ट इवेंट इस साल का, उसके बाद थोड़ा जोन मेटा जो है वो थोड़ा चेंज हुआ, थोड़ा प्ले स्टाइल में बाकी टीमों में डिफरेंस आया, हमको उस हिसाब से मोल्ड होना पड़ रहा है और हम हमारा प्ले स्टाइल है जो हम ढूंढ रहे थे न्यू जोन मेटा के हिसाब से और अब हम इतने कॉन्फिडेंस हैं और जो रिजल्ट होंगे इस बार जरूर देखेंगे।
डेस्ट्रो जो पहले ट्रॉफी मैग्नेट था, अब परफॉर्मेंस इतनी तगड़ी नहीं रही, क्या हुआ?
इसमें मैं एक ही चीज बोलूंगा कि थोड़ा पहले जोन मेटा अलग था और गेम 4 लोगों का है, तो वो जो मैग्नेट की पावर है वो बाकी 3 जब पूरी शक्तियों के साथ और अपनी पावर के साथ खेलेंगे तभी आएगी, तो जरूर आपको परफॉर्मेंस दिखेगी।
Few moments away from actually heading inside of this game of Sanhok, and there are still a lot of questions. There's a massive chance OG's lead that they had, which was quite supreme until yesterday, might actually be taken away by someone else, and someone else might be crowned. And OG, after watching that scenario, will not be too happy. Either of one things will happen. OG's confidence will completely shatter, or else OG will be back like never before. Anything can happen in this one game of Sanhok as we move on, and the plane's going to be in the skies once again in the rainforest, starting all the way from Cow towards the opposite side, which will be Sami.
The flight path is pretty decent. All the teams can glide to their favorite drop location pretty easily. But like you mentioned, there are 2 possibilities for the players of Orangutan, that they can bounce back or maybe they can break. But same goes for the players of God's Rain, because since yesterday, I believe, God's Rain has been doing pretty okay-ish. In the map of Erangel also, they had total of 9 points, which is pretty decent. But yes, I do agree, if they want to come in top 4, they need a banger performance, just like the players of REVENANT Spark delivered in the very first map. So maybe this can be the game for the players of OnePlus God's Rain as well.
It can be. Game 1 technically was supposed to be their game, but they messed up. But I'm going to hold on to that thought. Phoenix Esports in a bit of that trouble as TWOB this time around, even they found themselves on the wrong footing. As Phoenix Esports, they do find quick trades on the board. Obvious ball falls down. There's Phantom right across the street, and Phoenix Esports, they've got the man advantage. Phoenix this time around punishing the players at TWOB as Phoenix Esports, they're done being on the receiving side of the spectrum. This time they want to be the one to inflict the pain and hurt. Phantom uses the time to patch himself up, and since he's the only man standing for TWOB, there's not a lot of ways this man can come through victorious. He's trapped in a corner. Does have decent bit of ammunition on the AR as well, but now he needs to fight back. He does not have a lot of HP, and soon he will be wrapped up as well. Phoenix Esports, that's a great way to kick things off, and that's 8 points right there.
This is the start which the players of Phoenix Esports need at this point, but this is not going to be enough. They need more than 8 points. They need those bounty points, but a good start, because this time the circle is also completely towards the northeastern side. Cow is still in the first place zone, so that's a good thing for the players of Phoenix Esports. But
that's 10 points from Phoenix Esports in the first fight itself.
The impact player points as well being counted. So yes, a good head start for Phoenix Esports. But the truth is, they are sitting on the 24th spot, right at the bottom of the leaderboard. So they need more than 10 points.
I still believe if Phoenix Esports gets one chicken dinner with around 30 points, that's a major catapult. They instantly catapult themselves around the 20th spot, which honestly is a good spot to be in. And then from there on, Phoenix Esports can at least aim to be in the top 12 of the overall standings. So the best possible thing that can happen to them is to be in the semifinals. But something that's going to help you quite a bit with your gameplay is also going to be the OnePlus 13 peak gaming performance with Crore cooling. So do check it out. But once again, Hero Extreme Godlike. at this point, the way they have started things off, it's quite a slow way. The position, it's in the smack center as well. That means Hero Extreme Godlike, we will not see them go too aggressive.
Could be possible, but Mad Kings is also in the close proximity. But before that, we have another fight breaking in between the players of Global Esports and the players of NINZA. NINZA has been one of those teams which has been super consistent since yesterday. They got a chicken dinner yesterday, they got a chicken dinner today as well. A good start. Not a chicken dinner, a second finish on the map of Miramar for NINZA. So at this point, I'm sure they don't want to pick up any bad fight.
And once again, for NINZAs to actually find that success, in my opinion, they should start taking advantage of the power play system and also the bounty system. And of course, the impact player system as well, but they're not doing so. NINZA, they always like to play it from the smack center, and it's been working out for them, surprisingly. And if it's been working out, well, continue doing that. Because they're currently on the 12th spot in the overall standings. It's quite a decent spot to be in. In my opinion, NINZA should be in the top 4. That's where they deserve to be in, since looking at the recent form in the recent tournaments. But it's fine. And since it's also the map of Sanhok, we all know it's quite a zone-oriented map. If you find yourself in the smack center, if the zone's consistently shifting on top of you, that's pretty much going to be your game. So NINZA needs to play from the centric part now.
I agree with what you said, but when I had a talk with Dragon today, he was like, they're not going to take advantage of the power play. They're just going to play their natural play style because they want to feel confident in the overall leaderboard. Since they got a chicken dinner yesterday, they're not going to risk anything. And that was the reason that once they got a finish point onto the players of Global Esports, they immediately backed off rather than overcommitting in that fight.
Technically, if you think about it, is it really risking if you're getting double the points for every single elimination, and even your impact player, if he's getting those elimination points, that's going to be doubled up even more in the power play? Because imagine, a risky place to actually play it safe till the final few moments, not pick up any sort of elimination points, and if you get eliminated in that process, that's 0 points right there, and this is what I'm talking about. This is risky play right there! But what a spray that was! Disgusting from Gods! Quick and light work against NINZA! This is what you call one of the most disgusting moments! Even Admino contributing to that spray! Hero Extreme Godlike! What a way to kickstart this game! This is what I'm talking about. This is risky right there. I don't think taking advantage of the power-ups is risky.
I agree with what you said. I'm sure now Dragon is also going to agree with you. And maybe tomorrow we can see a different play style from the side of NINZA. But we also have a situation with the players of OnePlus God's Reign, where Destro has been knocked out, one player already eliminated. Even Jonathan is also getting shots from somewhere else. And like I said, Mad Kings are also in the close proximity. So there is a very high chance of a third party happening. But for now, Mad Kings are locking horns with the players of God's Reign. Clutch God, completely aware about God's Reign's plan. Destro with a grenade trying to make any connection, but seems like a connection is not going to be there. But Justin gets a knock onto Shadow, and Destro is leading the charge, trying to get the confirmation point, but he also needs to be a bit careful from the side of Clutch God.
It was a massive mess up. Mad Kings somehow dropping down a body in this fight. And now Mad Kings have only got 2 men standing for this upcoming battle. We've seen 2 quick eliminations so far. TWOB, they lost a fight against Infinix Esports. It was a flawless conversion from Infinix in that fight, getting 10 points off the rip. And then NINZA getting absolutely ripped apart in that one initial duel, or not even a proper duel, getting caught off guard in that rotation by Hero Extreme Godlike as they try to execute a risky play, playing it safe and sound in the smack center. Instead, should have taken the early game fights, should have taken the advantage of the power play. At least they would have had maybe 8 free points to start things off with.
One spray, and the entire team of NINZA was flattened instantly.
Yeah, it's quite funny actually if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because we were just having a conversation about that. And they just presented us the live example of why you're not supposed to do that.
And I'm sure you know that Necro and Poco and Dragon, they were a part of Team Limra. Yes, they performed really well in one of the official tournaments, but right next third-party tournament, same thing was happening with the players of Team Limra. Also, Poco and Dragon, they were struggling in those rotations. Few bad fights, few bad rotations were coming in, and seems like even now also that is a problem with them. But for now, we also have got OG trying to take advantage by getting few extra finish points onto the players of Marcos Gaming. 2 players already down. This is looking a fight going in the favor of OG.
Oh, AKOP. But it's fine. I think from the back is going to be the man to seal the deal, and even AKOP to get the final elimination nailed down is the impact player in Marcos Gaming. Today, for some reason, they're not really having a good day.
Yeah.
First 3 games, Marcos Gaming performance is completely in shambles, down the drain. And Marcos Gaming was also one of those names that was said that they do not really deserve to be here. Of course, we know Marcos Gaming deserves to be here. Their performance has been extremely good in the past days, but today's day, it's been rough on Marcos Gaming.
Just 8 points in the very first game, and not too many points in the map of Miramar as well. So Sanhok was their best possible bet, but seems like 0 points rewarded in the map of Sanhok as well. Marcos Gaming, the top 10 position will slip away from their hands. But for now, Heroics team got like 5 finishes, few in the power play itself. Looking pretty decent. And OG, the good thing is they are still surviving, and they've got 8 extra points, and more than 8 because one of the players is also the impact player. Extra points in the very first circle. Still leading the chart, but God's Ray Neo is right in the crosshairs of Edmino. This is not a good position to be in at this point.
It's a pixel angle that the man's taken. And he's also taken a bit of those shots upon himself, so he's constantly getting chipped up. Godlike with 5 eliminations so far. It's a decent way to start the day, or start the game as well. Revenant X Park, this team has been doing extremely good. Consistent performance after consistent performance. And this is one of those games where all the 4 bounty teams are also playing in it. That's the best possible thing for all the other teams at the bottom, including 8-Bit. Or even Phoenix Esports. If they end up claiming one of these bounties, Phoenix Esports, that can be massive catapults. We might just see 40 bomb.
Could be possible. But for now, Revenant X Park, the way this team is climbing the ladder in the overall ranking, it seems like a highly possible situation that even RNTX can be the table toppers. But for now, just a single finish point. And now, OnePlus K9, who have been struggling. We all know what really happened yesterday. And that could be the reason that K9 at this point is trying to back off from this fight. Also the factor that they are not aware where exactly the players of Revenant X Park are, and taking a fight out in the open is always a risky.
Yeah, but that's not the K9 I know.
Yeah.
The K9 I know is extremely aggressive, ruthless, merciless. But this K9, they seem scared. And I'm not a big fan of it. Come on, K9 Esports. You've got the mechanics, you've got the firepower. The only thing you're lacking currently is the confidence. And the only way you can regain that confidence is by getting a chicken dinner, or is by winning a proper 4-on-4 fight. And K9 Esports, getting a chicken dinner might just be too tough. You do not have a good position inside of the zone. They're not in the zone, actually. So, K9 Esports, yeah, getting a chicken dinner is impossible. But winning a fight is still possible.
In the position where K9 is at this point, there is a huge cluster of teams trying to traverse from the southern end. We also have got the players of OG also having the entire southeastern control of the circle. Whereas Genesis, they are right in the epicenter of the circle. Even the players of Godsend are also looking pretty decent, and seems like, as I was speaking about Destro and the boys, they found a knock onto Punk. Let's see if they can get the confirmation point, but Anonymous of NoNx, like you mentioned, is already down.
And they're also tanking the damage from the blue consistently. These utilities that are being tossed. The nade's going to chip the man up even low. Kalyuk barely surviving. Rapido's out in the open. Rapido's going to fall down as well. And Trey Scott, now he decides to make the pounce. He's on the run. The man's on the hunt. He's on the prowl. Another man falls down. NoNx losing the grip in this game. As Revenant X Park, it's the death march that's coming through. And Trey Scott is not scared of anyone. He is disrespecting NoNx. The way he's moving up and pushing them and punishing them constantly, it's insane. Remarkable. And Trey Scott is now hunting down the last man as well, but Fury's taking too much damage. Fury can actually be confirmed. Kanha, he wants to find that confirmation before he gets taken down himself, and this nade might just crawl right next to him. The confirmation follows up. Kanha, he moves out in the open, no other option to do, and he gets taken down in the end. Revenant X Park did lose out on one man, but they still claim a lot of points.
5 total finishes secured. This is the Revenant X Park we want to witness. A clean flush, elimination secured. So many points. Revenant X Park has been feeling themselves. And it's not like they're just having a good day. From the very start of the tournament, Revenant X Park has always been in the top 5 or somewhere near the top 5.
It's quite weird to see teams like Genesis Esports play it passive, and then OG's playing this game pretty aggressive. But hold on to that thought. You've got Painter's Life, this time hammering down the foes. He's already found the first in K9 Esports. That passive gameplay not really holding too much aura. And in the end, he does get shut down, but still K9 at the cost of what? Slug's lost. Remaining players of 4TR not that far back. INF God, he's looking to toss a utility, but Ninja Boy's too exposed. And Ninja Boy might just be knocked out soon. Omega needs to do something. He needs to execute a rescue operation, and that's what he's doing. Revival's going to be there on Slug, but they've already lost out on the 2 key players. K9 Esports blunders after blunders.
Even Gods has been knocked out from the side of Hero Extreme Godlike. But K9 Esports going for the rescue mission onto Slug. But they also need to patch themselves up. And look at the position of K9 now. Suddenly they find themselves in almost the center of the circle. But they need to be a bit careful from the side of God's Reign. Hero Extreme Godlike. Even the players of OG are also in a pretty decent spot. But Revenant X Park, this is going to be a big challenge for them, that how they are going to traverse inside the safety net of the circle, because OG, 8-bit, they can try to gatekeep Revenant X Park.
Look, to be honest, it's not a good position to be in where K9 Esports is at. It's extremely bad. They're exposed, they do not really have proper grounds, not even having proper cover. And soon, when the zone's going to start to shrink, a lot of teams will start to play from the edges, and that's when they can have a clear line of sight against K9 Esports, and they can be easily eliminated. So K9 Esports, they need to find proper solid cover. There are those houses still uncontested, but there is that one man from 4TR who's being a constant threat. And if K9 Esports isn't able to eliminate that player, that constant threat might just end up eliminating them.
Even the players of iQOO Soul trying to move inside the circle, and they might actually clash with the players of God's Reign. Could be a possibility. Destro trying to do something, but can't really do anything. Knuckle was the faster one to pull that trigger. Instantly takes him down. The counter knock is also there onto Knuckle, but legit, the impact player of iQOO Soul trying to do something. There is also a possibility of a third party coming in the name of Hero Extreme Godlike. And iQOO Soul is very much aware that someone is there. This is not a good position to be in at this point. Even the players of RNTX and OG are also locking horns with each other. For now, Punk with a grenade trying to find a connection towards iQOO Soul. And Goblin finally has been knocked by Neo of God's Reign. They are pretty much sandwiched.
There's a chance Godlike might have an explosive game in this one. And Punk scopes in. He's got the target locked to the sights, and God's in the front. This man is applying that constant pressure. I just love the confidence from this one young lad. Gods, he's doing so much on the playing field. Tossing out the utilities now. Soul in a big wall of trouble, and Gods is not scared of pouncing. Gods is like the Prowler. He's on the prowl. But Soul, that constant bombardment, that's really applying that pressure. And this time it's from Justin from God's Reign. Neo pushes up in the hopes of finding at least another connection. But instead, Neo gets chipped up himself, and God's Reign, now they need to patch up and back away, and that's what they exactly do. Joker's still knocked out, Blue's on the move, and luckily enough, Joker's going to be able to squeeze himself in that safety net. But Knuckle, he loses on legit. Soul, they're in a massive wall of trouble. There's Molotov, Knuckle, and he prones in that Molotov. Massive mistake from Soul, and that's going to cost him the game and the life.
Shredded and sent straight back to lobby. iQOO Soul, not a good performance, but Hero Extreme Godlike, all the 4 players are still alive. 7 finishes. This is their game to lose, but the circle moves away from the side of Hero Extreme Godlike. It is still favoring the players of Team Genesis, and I'm shocked to see the approach which Genesis is bringing in today. I agree, a ship is safe in the harbor, but that's not what a ship is made for. When you have a player of such high caliber like Hunters, he pulled off a 1v4 yesterday, and you're going for a passive approach. Not justified.
Phoenix, I like this Phoenix Esports. This time they're taking down the bounty hunters themselves, and Genesis Esports, they seem like they're in a world of trouble. Gravity's taken down barely any sort of HP, and in the end, Genesis Esports, they are tamed and claimed by Phoenix. What a play we are witnessing from the side of Phoenix Esports. And this was the Phoenix that we all wanted to see. And finally, now the demons are awake. Phoenix is the symbol of rebirth. And they are definitely rising back up from the ashes.
They most certainly are. They were already at the rock bottom, but Hero Extreme Godlike seems like this dominance is going to get sealed with the dinner. Could be possible. They have got the entire western control of the circle, but they also need to deal with the players of K9 Esports. And seems like Hero Extreme Godlike, they're not aware. Especially Beast of 8-bit is in such a close proximity to the players of K9. Those third parties are the only problem which Godlike can face at this point. Even God's Rain trying to do something just in kind of a stalemate situation. I think everyone is going to just wait for the next circle shift. But Slug has been eliminated by Raiden. And K9 left with just Omega now.
God's Rain. At this point in time, Admino getting knocked out. Even Punk falls down. Godlike, this could have been their massive game. Jonathan spots out another man from God's Rain, and that's going to be a knock. Confirmation instantly follows up, and that's the Impact player answering. Jonathan has been doing a lot of work this time around for Hero Extreme Godlike. Admino wants to call Jonathan in that pocket. Hero Extreme Godlike, if they do somehow manage to get that revival, that will be massive. That will be another revival. That will be another chance to life. But K9 Esports is Omega. He peeks out this time, but he had no clue that there was Jonathan behind that rock. And he eliminates him. Phoenix Esports still in the race, still in the game, as Neo is trying to hold him off at bay. But Jatan is the only casualty Phoenix has. They've still got 3 players standing and remaining. Jatan can be revived. Archit, he wants to end the story for God's Rain in this game itself.
iQOO 8-bit, they have the height advantage. Hero Extreme Godlike left with only 3 players. But they have got too many finish points, 10 finishes, and they are a force to reckon with. On the other side, 8-bit, even they are the one who always go for the passive approach. And this is not a team we have seen in the past. iQOO 8-bit was one of the aggressive team in the lobby. But the struggle has been real. Even Ash of Phoenix Esports was getting a lot of damage, but finally he dealt with Neo of God's Rain, and with that God's Rain has been eliminated on the 5th spot. We have got top 4 teams. Phoenix Esports is the only one who has got the numbers advantage.
8-bit in the back. Finally, that passive, that defensive gameplay is working out for 8-bit. But unfortunately for 8-bit, they've only got 3 men standing, and keep this thing in mind, there's still that 1 man from Revenant X Park who can be the spanner in the works, who can play the spoiler. But Phoenix now, they've got the entirety of Hero Extreme Godlike breaking on them. And this Hero Extreme Godlike, they've already found the opener, but 8-bit from the back is now going to start to create a few problems as Admina falls down. Jonathan, he will be able to save the day, but maybe not. As another man from 8-bit pushes up and punishes Godlike. And Gods, even he gets eliminated from Phoenix Esports. And 8-bit, now they make the pounds. It's Aquinox up close and personal against Godin. But Godin, he never loses these one-on-ones. He wins that fight. 8-bit now put in an uncomfortable spot. But Beast, he's not done yet. He pushes up, moves up close. He wants to eliminate Phoenix Esports, eliminate them from this game. But that will not be possible as Phoenix Esports, it's their time to make a comeback in the overall standings. And just like their name, it's their rebirth in the overall standings.
From the first bullet to the last, this team was unstoppable, and finally they have risen from the ashes. We have been talking about Phoenix Esports every single day, that when they are going to wake up from their slumber and sleep, like finally on the map of Sanhok, they started off by facing a drop clash, eliminating the players of TWOB, getting those power play extra points and the impact player points as well. This team was completely unstoppable, and I'm sure, I know what you're thinking, they have taken a major jump in the leaderboard.
Yes, of course, Phoenix Esports have done extremely good, but did you notice one off thing about 8-bit?
What exactly?
Samraj is not playing.
Yeah.
He's not in play 4, and he's the impact player. Somehow 8-bit is not taking the advantage of the impact player power-up. Massive thing. But Phoenix Esports, this was the comeback they were looking for. This was the rebirth that they were looking for. Rising back up from the ashes in the overall standings, and Phoenix Esports, they've dropped an absolute nuke in this game of Sanhok. But let's move on to the stage for the interview with the boys of Phoenix.
शायद आज जिन टीम्स पे टारगेट लगा था, those who had a bull's eye, चाहे हमारे पहले इंटरव्यू में जहां पे उन 4 टीमों का जिक्र हुआ था, या टीम्स that are at the bottom, they are out to prove a point. Ash with me from Phoenix. What a win! क्योंकि when everybody is writing you off, क्योंकि आप टेबल के बिल्कुल लास्ट स्पॉट पे हैं, you are just finding it so difficult to climb. What does this mean to you?
मतलब हम अभी तो यही ट्राई कर रहे हैं कि मोमेंटम बिल्ड करें एंड फर्स्ट स्टेप है पावर प्ले के किल उठाएं एंड देन लेट गेम में फोकस करें. मतलब जितना ज़्यादा एंड जोन देख सकते हैं उतना ज़्यादा दें.
जो सबसे मुश्किल एक खिलाड़ी के लिए होता है वो ये है कि अगर आप एक ओजी प्लेयर हैं, यू सीन द ग्राइंड, एंड देन आप एक ऐसी टीम का हिस्सा बन जाते हैं दैट इज स्ट्रगलिंग. शायद वो सबसे ज़्यादा दिल को ठेस पहुंचाता है.
हाँ मतलब अब मैं ये 3 साथ में पहले थे, मैं नया ज्वाइन किया हूँ, बट धीरे धीरे मोमेंटम पकड़ रहे हैं. बैड रिजल्ट हैं बट ऑब्वियसली मिस्टेक से लर्निंग होता है एंड इसके बाद अपवर्ड्स ही जाएंगे.
आईजीलिंग में कितना मजा आ रहा है, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली टीम तो उतना अच्छा नहीं कर रही है, बट इट्स अ डिफरेंट चैलेंज. पूरा गेम बदलना पड़ा आपको.
आईजीलिंग भी जैसे अब न्यू मेटा है तो एकदम मेरे लिए भी थोड़ा चेंजेस हैं, तो मैं भी अडाप्ट कर रहा हूँ एंड टीम भी अडाप्ट कर रही है एंड साथ में ऊपर जाने की ट्राई कर रहा है.
और ऊपर जाने की ही कोशिश जारी रहेगी. Phoenix Esports. Ash, thank you so much and congratulations on the chicken dinner. लेंगे एक break and we'll be back on the other side.
We're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android. It will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock the Dravian X suit starting at 10 UC on BGMI. Limited time offer on Google Play.
I mean, BGMS Season 4 Day 7 is the best representation of the year 2025 with all of these comebacks happening, right? In this previous game of Sanhok, we see finally the table toppers being toppled down, Revenant X Park claiming that spot, and also Phoenix Esports getting their first ever chicken dinner and in a long time.
And they started with a very good note. First, in the power play itself, they were able to eliminate the entire team of TWOB. Later on, they went on to take so many other fights. This time, Phoenix Esports was looking completely different, revamped. Phoenix Esports because they were not shying away from the fights. In fact, good rotations were also coming in from their side. Yes, I do understand it was a circle towards the eastern side and a left dropping in towards the northern part of the island, but still, it wasn't an easy circle for them.
It wasn't definitely easy, but they made it seem pretty easy. I'm pretty sure they might have ordered themselves some insane Swiggy burgers, ladies and gentlemen, which you can get only for ₹99. Pretty simple, smooth task. Just scan the QR code, which will be popping up soon after we move on towards those 99 finishes, right? That's at the end of the show itself, and that's when you can claim that offer. But now, coming back, the concept of claiming that big chicken dinner, Godlike as well, they were doing a fantastic job, to be honest. They had a pretty good area to control, but the only problem was that they were being pressured from two different positions. But guess what? There's a man who never feels any kind of pressure, regardless of the game that is, and it is Trey Scott. 7 finishes again by him, and thanks to this dude's performance, Revenant X-Park got to claim the bounty on OG.
Well, they certainly did. Too many points accumulated by the players of Revenant X-Park, but the best companion is Gods from Hero Extreme Godlike with 2 rescues, 1 assist. And Archit from Phoenix Esports is a finisher because he was able to land the final blow and was able to get that winner chicken dinner by dealing with the last player of 8-bit. It wasn't easy. It was a high pressure situation.
True.
And despite that, Phoenix Esports didn't fumble at all.
It was a 1v2 scenario, and they also sent that one dude over towards the flank as well, right? And I like the idea that they did not panic in that scenario. A couple of players were knocked down. Yes, now sometimes people get pressured if they should focus on revive or if they should focus on the fight. Now, considering they read the finish feed as well, they knew that members of 8-bit were only 3. Secondly, one of them was already knocked previously. So that was a big thing. But right as things went going, Godlike eventually finishing off 4 players of NINZA who were for some reason traveling in the exact same vehicle. Not really the best possible scenario considering you've got lots of rattlesnakes throughout the jungles of Sanhok.
But someone was not scared of those snakes, and that was the player of Hero Extreme Godlike and Phoenix Esports. Although iQOO 8-bit, this time the approach wasn't that aggressive. They were prioritizing the rotation and the circle itself. Towards the final few moments, they had the height advantage, but not the numbers advantage. And that was the reason that Phoenix Esports in the end was able to pull that clutch moment. 31 total points, 21 finishes. And me and Necro were having a talk that if Phoenix Esports pulls off a 30 bomber, then only they can propel themselves in the overall ranking. And seems like 31 bomber is there.
Yeah, but it's not just about 131 bomber. They need to bring this entire performance up consistently. That's going to be the big thing coming in from their side. But yeah, it's a start, and I'm very happy that they still are on top. But it's not just them. Even Revenant X-Park pulling off a 31 bomber of a game is an absolute statement. Finally toppling down Orangutan, who have been on top for probably 5 days now. Right from the second day itself, they started being on top, and then they continued it till today, till the map of Miramar, right? Sanhok is where things fell down, and it's not just one team now. Even Godlike has moved up ahead of them, and guess what? They still have 2 more matches to play.
The thing is, in a single day, and there's still 1 more game left, Revenant X-Park has pulled off more than 50 points. And that's something huge. A team which was previously struggling when they were playing under the banner of Wild Fangs. They were literally struggling, but now they're looking so confident. I love this new Revenant X-Park. Metal Esports sitting on the 9th spot with 146 points. And even Metal Esports, they have also started climbing the ladder because now they're also not shying away from fights. Yesterday they got a chicken dinner. Today also good points are being accumulated by them.
Having a very fun time out there. And finally, after such a long time, we are seeing Phoenix Esports swap the positions up. Yes, it's still NoNx that they've toppled over, but it's absolutely fine if you consider it. You're right, they've been on the dead bottom since day number 1. Finally pulling themselves back up, that's been a big thing. But the reason why Revenant X-Park has managed to get so many points, it's because of this one dude's on our screen right now. Trey Scott has been an impeccable performer, and it's not just today we are saying about that entire statement. We have been mentioning this thing for a long time now, right? Since the beginning of the year, we've been constantly singing the praises of Trey Scott.
I'll disagree to that. I do agree that previously at the start of the year when they were struggling, it was only a Trace God and Sev duo which were performing.
Yes.
But now, Even Fierce is also performing. Trace God is performing. Even Sensei is also getting those finishes.
True. I mean, he has also been doing pretty solid job. I'm pretty sure he started to play on the OnePlus 13R, ladies and gentlemen. It's a phone that you would never want to skip out on. It's got a very solid battery life. Fun fact, comes with the Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3 processor. Do not miss out on that. And I'm pretty sure I know a lot of you would want to check it out. Guess what? We're going to give you that time as we hop onto this short break. The last map of Erangel on the other side.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Unlock the Dravian X suit starting at 10 UC on BGMI. Limited time offer on Google Play.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
A lot of points being gained by Revenant X Park to topple down the Apes after such a long time. Finally, we move on towards the last map of the day 7. Week 1's last map, Erangel. It's going to boot up pretty soon out here. Group B and C, the ones who will be playing in. A lot of bounty to be claimed out here. God's Reign ready, OG ready, even Godlike is also here. So you do not want to miss out on any action. We've also got the 4th placing team as well on the board itself. So all the 4 teams, that means 40 potential bounty points to be claimed. But since we're talking about some points to be claimed, ladies and gentlemen, for you earn rewards for every purchase with Google Play points. So you want to make sure that you use the Google Play points for the purchases so that you can get those extra rewards. I mean, yeah, M4 Glacier and then some extra rewards with that. What's the harm? Maybe you want to get some bonuses for yourself, Blue Shadow, since we've constantly seen the effect of those bonus points, and Revenant X Park is capitalizing on that.
The thing is, I already have got the Glacier, but few extra points are going to help me get few other things as well. But the man on our screens is Power. We noticed that in the map of Sanhok, Somraj wasn't playing, and 8-bit has been struggling in the overall leaderboard. And Somraj is also the guy who's the impact player of 8-bit. I don't know what's actually the plan of the entire team, but whatever it is, if it's working for you, no need to mend it.
That's the big thing, right? It wasn't working for them for the past 2 days, so today they entirely swap it all up, and he's the only impact player who's yet to open up his bank account. But ladies and gentlemen, maybe 8-bit can open their bank account of the chicken dinners after they land on this one, because the plane is hitting the sky again, starting all the way from Nowhere Epnoi, moving towards the shooting range. So the teams who want to jump towards Fairy Pier, yeah, I mean, Phoenix Esports, you've got the wings, but can you fly that long is the big question.
I don't know. Let's see. But for now, a team which was struggling in the previous Sanhok, Global Esports, they've dropped all the way towards Nowhere Epnoi, and maybe they're heading towards the side of military base for now to Extreme Godlike. Let's see where they are headed. since we have got all the 4 bounty teams in the lobby, there is a very high chance that this Erangel is going to be a very aggressive one. Maybe more aggressive than what we witnessed in the map of Sanhok. But why not TWOB once again in the close proximity of Phoenix Esports. And Phoenix Esports, this time they have gone all the way towards the side of Milta. Heroic team godlike towards Milta Power. Then we also have got K9 in the mix and even Revenant X Spark. 4 teams around Milta and Milta Power. This is not looking good.
K9 wants to claim the bounty, but on the other side of the spectrum, it's Soul who are being targeted. Marcos Gaming, 1-for-1 trade. Couple of players down onto their feet as Joker just tries to make this street a London. But he's still trying to maybe stand up, not a bow and arrow. Oh my goodness, come on. Trying to blast everyone off. It's got absolutely nothing apart from that. Uzi being dropped to him finally by his teammate as Legend tries to move up forward. Wants to turn it out, but he's also got the bow and arrow for the secondary. He's going to have some time to reload. As it's the pump shotgun on the other side. Naughty as well, so you don't really want to take the fight against him as Soul will finally rendezvous together on the first floor. It's a small stalemate coming in, but they're going to get their man back up on the feed. That means they will have the numbers advantage. And Marcos Gaming, they're the ones who are actually behind onto this one. Again, blast right onto the face with that bow. It's going to be big. The shotgun lands perfectly, but it's not enough as Legit confirms the finish. It's going to be 8 points given to his team just by him, and combine the 4 from Joker. 12 being claimed, but they're not the only one here. As you mentioned, NoNx are also trying to bounce onto them.
And Goblin doesn't have too much HP to work around with, but Legit is there, gets the first knock on not just one, but 2 players of NoNx Esports. Goblin, despite being on the low HP, he was able to deal with the player of NoNx, but Joker gets taken down. And a grenade from the side of Kana also coming in. Takes down his own teammate and Goblin as well. What is happening? iQOO Soul has been eliminated. Yes, on the 14th spot. NoNx Esports, good points accumulated in the power play itself. But we also have got the players of OG and Revenant X Spark, and maybe they can also try locking horns with each other. But seems like the players of Revenant X Spark are taking a rain check.
They're going to be moving all the way back right now. Don't want to focus on the members of OG, who already have got 3 finishes for themselves. Phoenix as well, quite close to them, and they're all looking to rotate. And I believe one of the big reasons for that... It's fine, Aru. We saw all of that, it's okay. Oh my goodness, right now Avi is able to get one only, but apart from that, nothing. It's Genesis, and we know how solid they have been in terms of these fights, and godlike. They are all the way towards the Milta Power as well, and they get a knock on Aru. They will confirm him too. That means the performance of OG will keep on dwindling. Maybe they could be put out of the top 4, considering 9 of the teams who are supposed to be in top 10 are playing. This is one of the strongest group battles in BGMS. And OG are faltering.
They most certainly are. Sitting on the 2nd spot for now, Heroic Team Godlike, even they started on the aggressive note. This is a very aggressive Erangel. So many teams are going for those early fights. Even the players of Genesis are also in the close proximity to the players of TWOB, and that is exactly where the players of Revenant X Spark are also headed. But looking at the circle, everyone is around the eastern side of the map, but we have a complete southwestern circle where only 8-bit and NoNx, only 2 teams inside the very first circle. Even the players of Mad Kings want to take advantage of the power play against 4TR. Back and 4 trades are coming in. And Gods? Getting a beautiful connection onto Fierce as well. So many troubles, so many early casualties for every top team.
And we're an absolute non-violent team out here. We're going to be focusing on 4TRs. A couple of players who were absolutely out in the mix though. But still, it's Mad Kings getting eliminated. A big play coming in, but hold on for a second. Hold that thought. The godlike Hunter Genesis are here. They want to take them down one more time. The raid being cooked up, but the vehicle is going to slam onto both of them. Support is coming in. Godlike. Only gods remain standing. He's got a shotgun in the hand, but not a lot of bullets as he switches up and chooses death. It's Zap who gets 3 of those finishes, and my oh my, what a revenge.
This is the Genesis we want to see, and Zab with 3 finishes, total 5 finishes in the stage 1 itself. So that means more than 10 points, because impact player points are also going to get added up. So many points have been accumulated by Genesis, and Necro and I were actually having this discussion that the passive approach of Genesis is not actually a good one. And seems like they actually heard the complaints of Necro, and we are witnessing a very aggressive Genesis. But Circle, no one is prioritizing the Circle, no one is caring about the Circle. God's Reign, even they are in a close proximity to the players of 8-bit. In the map of Sanhok also, they both locked horns with each other.
Let's go. Go on for that fight.
Rotational clash.
One more time going in. Destro is the first one who's eventually caught. Aquanox answers back as Neo is also down on his feet. Delta wants to run away from here, and they can't really take on this fight. Finally, 8-bit, they've been answering back like anything. And this is a very different 8-bit than we were noticing. I believe Somrat's taking a step back has given a new direction to the team. And with this slight change, they are now surprising everyone.
But 4TR is also in the close proximity, Scared. There is a high possibility of a third party. Kana, the last man of NoNx Esports, is also over there. But feels like this is going to be a cat and mouse chase. 8-bit is actually chasing the players of God's Reign.
They want to try and claim all of those points before this stage 1 ends, and that is a big play. Still want to try and catch all of them right as they move towards the Georgia Pearl. Taking out that bridge area quickly with them as they want to move in towards the city. But his power wants to go in for this chase. He is alone. A couple of players are behind him.
A deja vu moment of yesterday's Erangel, when K9 was trying to chase for those bounty points. It is exactly the same situation. Justin has moved all the way in the blue towards shooting range, and 8-bit is also going in that direction. Are we actually going to witness a similar instance, or 8-bit will actually succeed in getting those bounty points?
Listen, right now, here's the big thing, right? That was one of the big points that you mentioned. Last time, it was a big bounty play. And right now, if I'm not wrong, the bounty is actually on Soul, Godlike, Revenant, X-Park and OG. So it's more like a chase that's actually going in just out of the ego, and they don't really want to give in to that a lot. As also the stage 1 is going to end, so they're not going to go in for any more chase than that's necessary, and will be trying to prioritize the circle. Holy smokes, it's way too empty, Shadow. And if the circle takes a sudden shift, I think so you're going to be the happiest person in the entire arena.
Not really, because only a few teams are left. This is the first time that no one is carrying over the circle.
Meta NINZA are.
Oh, most certainly they are, because they need a chicken dinner.
After the first circle, normally we see them already in the dead center.
The circle actually formed on their drop location. They are not prioritizing it.
Exactly my point. It was their own circle, and even after all of that, they were still not in the center. It's absolutely fine, you know. Some days, even the teams can surprise us. 4TR, a team that actually had quite a lot of members for themselves, eventually losing one more. This is a hunting 8-bit. This kind of gives me those very old last year Soul vibes, where if you remember, when Soul knew that they were in a very safe spot, and they were in a very good spot, to be honest, they would then decide to get bare minimum loot and go out on a hunting spree, trying to cut off rotations, trying to target certain teams. They would give us entertainment and the fight. That's exactly what we're getting right now as Global Esports. We're also trying to do the exact same thing, but against the winners of the previous map.
And Global Esports Manya, flat tires of that buggy is going to force him to hold a position behind that hard cover. He did manage to get a knock onto one of the players, Jahan of Phoenix Esports. Troy is also there to provide all the backline support. In fact, Troy gets a confirmation point as well. The other player of Phoenix, Ash, on a very low HP, but Gordon is there. This guy always steps up. Gets a knock onto Baron. Trying to get the confirmation point, but he is the one to get traded off. 2 players down from the side of Global Esports. Ash still bleeding, still asking for the rescue mission. Manya slowly crawling his way towards Ash, who is trying to find a connection onto Manya. But seems like that's not going to happen as Manel gets a confirmation onto Ash as well. 3 finishes at the start for Global Esports. A good head start, and actually Global Esports wanted a good head start.
Phoenix not really flying high as we were expecting them to.
Yeah.
Only one game of glory, and then in the very next one they falter. It's Global Esports to take them down. The good thing that happened was they were still able to get at least a couple of knocks, so it's not really like how we previously used to see them constantly on the struggling end where they could not even get one man down on the knees. We're seeing certain improvements happening, but oh my, 8-bit. This is a team that has decided to switch their entire game plan. No more passive approach. It's full-fledged aggression coming in. It's an absolute destruction, absolute mad run. They want to try and capture every single person who's out there. They want to get all the fights that they can. And it's a sudden shift as well. This could very well be a Corey
Just
circle.
look at the players of God's Reign.
They're not hopping in until and
They're
unless
all
they
the way towards Zarki.
They're done. We ain't
Wait.
a part of this.
Are you saying they're done? What if they get a chicken dinner? It's just a stage 3 circle. They've got enough resources and it's a clear pathway inside the circle. But while moving inside the circle, they first have to deal with the players of 8-bit from whom they were trying to escape.
One of the major impacts that they're going to face right now is going to be those heals, because after the zone meta was changed, the blue deals quite a bit of significant damage if you actually consider it. So they'll have to make their move inside the blue quickly, and the circle is still a bit more away from them, a bit more down south. So that's where they'd have to go, where they'd eventually encounter this fight that's happening. NoNx up against NINZA. Gonna try and capture a lucky knockout there. This reminds me of one of the event where we were seeing the team of Aways constantly bombarding this exact warehouse, the upper one. There was some or the other player, man. They still could not find him, and they had to use every single piece of utility to try and force them out. And right now, Kalyug and Kana, they're gonna hold their own angles as well. Kalyug's been the main playmaker for their side. Dragon still trying to find an angle though, but is still not gonna run inside of it. But finally, it's gonna go on to a halt as TWOB also decide to check out their surroundings, what's happening. Now, you mentioned about God's Reign encountering 8-bit. I'm seeing the map feed, and that's exactly what's about to happen. Beast, for some reason, is trying to go in the blue. He's also trying to hunt down the players as well, and God's Reign have eventually made that southern rotation over towards the western fray, all the way towards the east in the blue, down south of Pochinki is where we see Atanki. Were also about to point that same thing out. He's the last remaining member, and he's going for a super duper late rotation.
What goes around comes around. God's Reign, they were trying to escape from the players of 8-bit. And now the rotation which they were trying to pull off, they had to cross paths with the players of 8-bit. And 8-bit is adamant in getting those bounty points onto the players of God's Reign. But even 4TR is also in the close proximity. Could possibly be a God's Reign versus 4TR fight. Genesis in such a close proximity to the players of Global Esports. But the circle is favoring the players of NoNx and TWOB. Even Atanki, the last man surviving, who was going for a very late rotation, taking the brunt of the blue, is going for the northern rotation. But Delta has been knocked out by S-Power, and seems like 8-bit, they are going to chase Justin. They know it is God's Reign. They want those extra 10 bounty points. It's not going to be easy for Justin at all. It's quite an open area. And a final nade will end the things for Justin. It was not a grenade, it was a Scarlet. And the bounty points are acclaimed by 8-bit. God's Reign, they tried with tooth and nail to escape from this. But like I said, what goes around comes around. They escaped from 8-bit and they had to face 8-bit.
Big play coming in. And 8-bit controlling the entire northern and now the western fray. They're going to replenish all of their utilities as well, because thanks to the last two members of God's Reign, they looted the entire Georgepul city and Zarki. They have a lot to offer. The Far Fray Cousins of Seoul right now ready to try and take this entire game. Atanki is moved in dangerously close to the members of Global Esports, and I'm pretty sure they've noticed him as well. So Manya is going to make the calls to bring his team towards Atanki. The only questionable thing would be if he knows it's actually Atanki or not. But there's no question into you deciding to watch all the top 4 bounty teams that were at the start of the day, ladies and gentlemen. God's Reign, OG, 8-bit, or rather Soul and Godlike. 2 of the fan favorites as well up for bounty. You can watch their individual multicam as well. So you're going to only focus on their game. That's only available on Jio Hotstar. You want to make sure that you can utilize that one feature as quickly as possible as 8-bit continue to utilize the power of Aquanox and his power. 3 finishes for the dude already as the Molotov now goes in. Well, there's one Strangler from 4TR. Pain is live. The impact players. The smoke goes out. Still want to try and hold it down as the nades will be going in as well. The floor is lava, but still Pain is not really on that floor. Blasts going in left, right and center. A couple of players pretty low, but 8-bit have got those utils to dispose of. And I like this idea from Pain though, but he'll have to jump out of the rotation. He's still there. He's still taking the players down of 8-bit. But only catching 3 as Aquanox provides the cover to the team. 3 of them down and out. And Aqua has to make the move because the last remaining Strangler of 4TR is also moving in.
Equinox going for the rescue mission onto the fallen comrades. Just imagine if Hunters actually come in close to the players of 8-bit. What all damage can he do? He can actually eliminate the entirety of 8-bit. And that is exactly what he's planning to do. He has got 3 grenades and 2 Molotovs. He's so precise with those util usage. 8-bit, all the players are on a very low HP. A single grenade can mark an end for the entirety of 8-bit. But Gravity gets a knock onto Equinox, passing all the information to Hunters as well, who is still crawling his way towards 8-bit. And
nade.
finally, a nade goes in, but the connection is there right on the face of Raiden, takes him down. 8-bit left with only 2+. Even his power on a sliver of HP, still surviving, still breathing, but for how long? The smokes are there, but they won't help him out. Even his power has to go down. Finally knocked out Genesis Esports. 1 player down, but 3 players are still there. The last 1v1 is there, where Hunters has been knocked out by Beast. It is entirely on the shoulders of Beast to clutch this moment and give a second chance to his team.
All the smokes out there as well. He's trying to gather the information from Buggy, but they're only getting the confirmations. Not the last man, but finally, Hunters and Gravity will eventually claim all of them. Zap was standing there as well for the perfect support, and they will bring their men back on the feet. That one solid damage from Pain destroyed 8-bit and their hopes to pull themselves back up in this game. Being removed on the 8th position, and now it's going to be Genesis who'll have every single thing laid in front of them on a silver platter. But the question is, can they move out of this space? Because TWOB have got a straight line of sight here.
Shredded and sent back to lobby. That's what happened to the players of 8-bit. I'm sure the crowd would have been on their feet for that particular fight. That was insane. We also have got 40 and Morty hiding behind that buggy. And the players of Genesis, are they aware?
Yeah.
Maybe they are. That's the reason that Zap has went for the rotation in such a close proximity to Morty.
Good luck surviving this.
He's still surviving. Actually, Zap has no idea.
I think so. He does. He's just waiting.
No, man.
He's waiting for his
yes.
teammates.
Yeah.
They know about him. They know. They basically spotted the buggy all the way from that one compound. He's just trying to figure out if the player has run away someplace else.
No!
Hold on.
They have no idea.
Oh my god.
Morty is hiding right beside Zap, and Zap and the entire Genesis has no idea. He's all by himself, by the way, Zap.
Can definitely try and ruin the game of him. No one can eventually provide any kind of cover.
Myself.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
You always die for finish first.
That's fair.
So I can try that. I'm always a lone survivor in my squad. Oh my god, so close.
Oh, he didn't see. He still didn't see him. Oh my god, that dude is acting like Drax. He's like, yeah, we're still gonna stay there. No one can see him if he does not move a muscle, probably. That's what's happening.
It's kind of funny as well. He has got 4 grenades, by the way.
I'm pretty sure he's not really going to pull the trigger as well. And Zap's going to turn around. He'll eventually see him and then he'll die. That's what we've seen happen for all the people who've shown trigger laziness. I wouldn't exactly call it trigger discipline anymore. It's going to be pretty difficult out there. Ron finishes up Atanki as well. So GE finishing that one team off. But NINZA finally taking this entire engagement against NoNx. Still trying to hold them down though. But on the other end, on the other fray, the nade went out and it was absolutely perfect. NINZA being destroyed by NoNx as Kalyug stands strong. And finally, 4TR also hitting a century in terms of the points.
7 total finishes. NoNx slowly climbing the ladder.
Yep.
But we still have got the players of Genesis who have made it inside the top 4. And they were actually pushed out of top 4 after the map of Miramar. 10 total finishes. A high chance that they can get a chicken dinner as well. Unless and until Morty do something. And Morty is actually going to strike. He gets a confirmation point onto Yash. And now Genesis, they are wounded. Morty has to reposition now. And he's actually running out in the open. And also in the direction where we have the players of Genesis. This is not looking good. This is not looking promising for him at all. In fact, he's getting shots from somewhere else. And finally, TWOB Pokar spots him out and marks an end for 4TR on the 5th spot.
Out in the open as well in front of everyone. But he's done the damage to Genesis. Not really 4 players. They wanted to have the full control of the Western fray. Kind of trying to do almost the same thing as Global Esports are. But they were way too far spread out, Shadow. And that has been a big problem. Global Esports, this could be their game as well for as long as the circle does not form on TWOB. Otherwise, TWOB would be able to claim this game because they've got the solid compounds as the cover. So all they need to do is just defend. Hunters, I would have said that he's trying to traverse the grounds where he should not. But I'm pretty sure if there is anyone who's near him, yeah, you should leave your ground. Because with the way he is performing, I'm pretty sure you would not want to fight him.
Hunters has been spotted. Seems like Spray God was actually looking in the direction. But I still can't understand how Zap and the entire team of Genesis couldn't spot Morty. I mean, the vehicle wasn't blown up. Hey, that's a big clue, but never mind.
Lots of surprises happen out here, right? Them not spotting off Morty from 4TR and then 8-bit claiming the bounty of God's Reign. That's pretty solid stuff because they'll eventually be moving up in the ladder as well. So I think so this and the previous specific game, we can say these two being the games of comeback for the teams who've been struggling a lot through the past 6 days.
TWOB also being one of them.
Yes.
NoNx also. A good game coming in from their side. They have made it inside the top 4, but unfortunately, Kalyug is the last man standing, and with that grenade, now Zap has an idea where exactly he can be. But TWOB can also do a third party in this situation, and if Genesis and TWOB lock horns with each other, there is a very high chance that Kalyug can do a third party. But this is going to be a battle of the grenades, where Kalyug is slowly trying to crawl his way towards the player of Genesis. So much utils being invested. A chip damage towards Kalyug. But this time it is Hunters who is trying to make that connection, and he has always been so precise. And gets a confirmation and elimination onto NoNx as well on the 4th spot. Top 3 teams remaining, and Global Esports also stands a very solid chance to get a big winner chicken dinner because they are the only one prioritizing the circle.
Genesis, Global Esports, TWOB are going to be the main thorn right now as they both try to lock on. Gravity is still hidden. Zap shows up as well to try and support his team as Gravity fires in some shots, gets a knock as well, but can't really find the second one. The player drops out, but the support is there. TWOB, Phantom sprays him down in the open. Genesis have got a nice opportunity to try and claim this one as it's Hunters remaining still. But Global Esports will survive. Now Genesis got two different teams to worry about. Nasty shots from Hunters. This dude is a headshot expert. But can he try and get this fight against Global Esports? Still got to try and find two more players now. Still half of what he found yesterday against K9. But he's basically caught between a rock and a hard place now. A 3v2v1. Troy is going to bleed out, so it's going to be a 3v1v1. TWOB have got this game in a silver platter in their hands as Troy falls down. And Phantom is now trying to prioritize Hunter. This long nade can definitely pose some problems as he jumps in and out behind the drop. But do you have anything else? A Molotov, a frag, 3 stuns. He can definitely make do with something. Sends out another. The healing is there, but Hunter still constantly has to patch himself up as Manya is also behind him. TWOB are playing it perfectly.
TWOB being the silent force for now, letting Genesis and the players of Global Esports go up against each other. Mana kindly running out on those utils, but Hunters, he still has got 1 grenade and 1 Molotov. And Mac, who was knocked out by Manya, is going to bring down the numbers of TWOB. Yes, Mane was the one to get the confirmation point as well. But Hunters, just give this guy enough grenades and he'll land you a chicken dinner. But this time the connection wasn't there towards Phantom. Now he's left with only a single Molotov.
Circle is also onto him and he's heard Manya shooting his shots. So he knows there's one player there. And the scenario which was a 3v1v1, nah, it's not going to reach him. There's a hard cover. Hold on. The shots being fired from the other side. That's the bit of problem coming in. Still got the last first aid, which he will use. 1 energy drink, which he's got to use to make sure he gets to full HP. But Manya is slowly crawling in. He could be the problem. TWOB they were on a spread of 1-1-1. Now, as much as it gives you a lot of map control, it also isolates your player, which Manya was able to capitalize on. And even if Phantom gets knocked here, Pukar cannot provide any kind of assistance to him.
But getting a knock onto Phantom itself is going to be a big challenge for Hunters in Manya, as the blue is already forcing Manya in.
Oh, he's getting a flank angle technically.
He doesn't have any hard cover. First priority is the circle, and while doing so, Pukar gets a confirmation onto him. It's only last 2 teams remaining. A 1v2 situation for Hunters. I really wish this guy had few more utils. Holy moly! He gets a knock onto Phantom, converting a 1v2 into a 1v1 situation. Did I or did I not tell you? Hunters is the guy who can actually pull this off.
Pukar will be forced to make the move first out of the covers as well as he sits in the open. Hunter, just 1 more bullet will do and he will land the shot. You cannot not place your trust in him. He is a beast disguised as a human. Inhumane performance. And Genesis Esports rack up a big win.
Yesterday, it was a 1v4 against the players of K9 just by those utilities, those grenades. And now, a chicken dinner when he was the only last player remaining. Made his way inside the circle. Got so many finish points. From the first bullet to the last bullet. This team, Genesis, they have been unstoppable. So many finishes and they are looking so strong.
You talk about Zap pulling 3 against Godlike. You talk about Hunters always clutching it out for the team. We'll have a look at the final blow one more time because I'll have to say Manya was the only X factor that could have changed the entire outcome of that fight. And as much as I earlier thought that the 1-1-1 split could eventually help out the members of TWOB, it did not, but rather it gave an opportunity to Hunter. So let's send it down to Suren to have a word with him.
आज का दिन ऑलमोस्ट ऐसा लग रहा है कि भविष्यवाणी जो शुरुआत में की थी वो सच हो रही है. सच होते होते आखिरी मैच में कहानी रह गई. TWOB चिकन डिनर जीत सकते थे, बट द मैन हु वाज हियर राइट एट द बिगिनिंग ऑफ द डे, हंटर्स, जेनेसिस, उन्होंने उस कहानी को खत्म कर दिया है. वेलकम बैक वंस अगेन. आज जो हमारी बातचीत हुई थी शुरुआत में, कई चीजें सच हुई. बहुत सारी टीम्स, वो जो 4 टीमें थी जिनका हमने जिक्र किया, दे वर आउट टू प्रूव अ पॉइंट. TWOB वो भी एक टीम थी भाई. और सोचो ये कहानी कैसे इस मोड़ पे आई है that you had to finish their story and you did.
ऐसे तो कुछ नहीं, बस हम लोग को पंप वहाँ से मिल गया जहाँ से हम लोग को गॉडेल की बाउंटी मिली. वहाँ पे हम लोग पंप हो गए ज़्यादा, और फिर मतलब वो मोमेंटम अच्छा पकड़ के फिर बाद में मतलब जोन हम लोग को ज़्यादा फेवर कर गया ये वाली मैच. फिर हमने वहाँ पे थर्ड पार्टी भी करे 8-bit को, वो भी अच्छा करके फिर ओपन जोन मिल गया, वहाँ पे भी थोड़ा अच्छा जोन फेवर कर गया. फिर वहाँ से हम लोग ने मैच कन्वर्ट कर लिया. लास्ट में थोड़ा चोक कर दिया था टीममेट्स ने कॉल आउट्स वगैरह देने में, फिर भी लास्ट में था तो मार लिया, जोन थोड़ा फेवर कर गया. तो
ऐसा लग रहा था that TWOB स्पेशली पुकार, ये चिकन डिनर उनका था. कहाँ छूटा ये शायद समझ नहीं आया. एंड में इट वाज अ 1v1 बैटल विद यू एंड पुकार. वर यू कंप्लीटली कॉन्फिडेंट?
हाँ, वो तो पूरा कॉन्फिडेंस था ही, क्योंकि जो मेन की प्लेयर था जो एकदम मिडल में था, उसने थोड़ी गलती करके वो नॉक हो गया. फिर बाकी तो दूसरा तो ओपन से आ रहा था, तो ओपन से तो मारना इजी होता है, और स्पेशली अगर TWOB हो तो.
भाई 50 पॉइंट निकाले इस मैच में आपने. इज दिस वन ऑफ द बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंसेस इन स्पाइट, ये जो आपने कहा ना कि कॉल आउट में थोड़ी सी चूक हुई है, उन सब के बावजूद क्या ये अब तक जितने भी मैचेस आपने खेले उनमें आपकी सबसे बेहतरीन परफॉर्मेंसेस में से?
नहीं, पिछला BGMS 49 पॉइंट मारे थे हम लोग ने एक सिंगल मैच में. शायद अभी 50 मारे ना, 50 या 49 कुछ तो मारे, अराउंड मारे. लेकिन पिछला BGMS में एक 49 पॉइंट्स मारे थे, और ये वाले BGMS में भी एक बार हो गया. अभी
गॉड लाइक को कैसे ढूंढ लेते हो हर जगह तुम?
गॉड लाइक खुद हमारे पास आ गई भाई इस बार हमने कहीं तो एक बंदे को मारा, TWOB का स्टार्टिंग में मारे, फिर वहां से ही गॉड लाइक किल फिट पड़ के शायद आ गई होगी.
क्या TWOB ने इस परफॉर्मेंस से तुम्हारी शुरुआत में जो बात थी उसको थोड़ा सा अब चेंज करवाया है, या यू स्टिल थिंक अभी भी अनडिजर्विंग है एंड दे शुड हैव बीन इन द चैलेंजर्स?
अभी भी लग रहा है कि अनडिजर्विंग है.
That's the end of it. Hunters अपनी बात से मुकरने नहीं वाला है. अभी भी दृढ़ विश्वास के साथ कह रहा है कि उनको चैलेंजर्स में होना चाहिए था. We're going to take a break and we'll be back.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12 gigabyte ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS
Let's Raider the Wicked Ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Man, oh man, that previous Erangel was absolutely brain-wracking. If you talk about in terms of TWOB, if you talk about in terms of hunters, yes, that was a massive surprise. Losing that one one player to the strangler of 40R Morty, even after that pulling themselves back for a chicken dinner in a 2v 1v1 disadvantage. Man, I'm pretty sure Hunters was drinking the Bisleri water side by side, ladies and gentlemen, to keep himself cool, calm and collected under all of that pressure. But holy smokes, it was an insane performance.
He basically turned impossible into unbelievable, and not just one, twice. Yesterday also, this guy is actually making us all in awe of him. Genesis is super strong because of Hunter's utility usage, and I will keep saying this like a broken record since the days back when he was part of Reckoning Esports.
Yes.
This guy has been precise with those grenades, those util usage, and now he's using that to the perfection. The insane squad clutch just by utilities, that's almost impossible.
We can keep on singing the praises of the dude as he hops up as the MVP for the previous game. 7 finishes racked up, 47% finish contribution. Absolutely out of his mind performance, right? We've been seeing a lot of 7 finishes MVPs coming in.
Yeah.
Praise God for a couple of games of Erangel and then Sanhok and now Hunters. With this game of Erangel, we're finally seeing all of these impact players show up their true colors, and it's going to be Genesis all around the stars of the match.
The best companion, the finisher, going all out. Everyone from the side of Genesis, Hunter's the finisher and going all out. And Zap is the best companion with 2 rescues and 2 assists. And also Hunters is the impact player from the side of Genesis. So that means those finish points are double up.
Bare minimum 14.
More than that.
Yeah, exactly. Because he had some points also during the power play itself, and also they managed to claim the bounty of godlike. Yes. So it's like now this man is saying, yeah, we don't really try to hunt them down. It's like they are probably trying to hunt us down, and then we just answer them back like we normally do. Yeah, I know you want to say something. I'm going to let you do it.
Actually, 2 bounties were claimed in this particular angle. One onto the players of Godstream as well,
yes.
and that was 8-bit.
True, and that's one of the big reasons why we are finally seeing the resurgence of 8-bit, right? Now, in no way I'm saying that Somraj is not a good IGL. I mean, that man has proven himself on the big stage multiple times. But there happens to be a point of saturation sometimes, considering this BGMS Season 4 is an absolute behemoth of a tournament. So it's absolutely understandable for him to take a backseat, sit, watch, read how every single team is playing, and then make a plan to make that big comeback. Having a look at the OnePlus never settle moments from the previous game, ladies and gentlemen. Some disappointments being shown by Punk as well for the team. But man, oh man, such a nasty, impressive highlight play. Beast is definitely putting it up on his Instagram.
And even the players of 4TR can also try to do that, because Pain is Alive was able to take out 2 players from the side of 8-bit, and after that it was entirely Genesis show where Hunters with the grenade was able to get the confirmation point as well. TWOB also in the end, they had the numbers advantage, but Genesis had the circle, had the hard cover and everything lined up for them.
At the end of the day, Puka's reaction tells you everything. A 50-point bomber in one game. 30 from finish points, 10 from position points, and 10 from bounty. let's not talk about anything else. Let's let that sink in.
Yeah. Records have been made today. And it's not going to be easy for anyone to break this record, by the way.
It's impossible at this point.
Don't use the word impossible. Someone can pull off an unbelievable performance and maybe deliver a 55 or a 60 bomber.
Not above this, man. Not above this. You need a performance like Hunter. You need a performance like Genesis. And they are constantly pulling this up, man. Necro, I hope you're happy. I hope you wanted to see this aggression, and look at that. Just on the back of that one game, Genesis have propelled themselves up on the second place. This is madness. Out of all the teams in top 8 Shadow, Genesis have got 90 bonus points.
And 18 games. 2 games still remaining. Same goes for the players of Hero Extreme Godlike, who have got 3 chicken dinners. And God's Reign, they have been pushed out of top 4. They need to buckle up their socks. Mad Kings on the 14th spot with 129 points. Mad Kings, they need to do something. It's not really working for them. Team Orion also facing a dip. Metal Esports have also faced a downfall in the leaderboard with 146 points, sitting on the 10th spot.
All the team in the top 4 have got above 200 points, and then we see the top 12 teams. That's where you're seeing that almost 130, 140 point mark, right? So most of the teams who are down on this page will eventually try to target to be in that middle pack, at least out of the bottom 8. And that's going to be a mammoth of a task in itself. I mean, what is, we always discuss about the highlight moments of every single map every day.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're going to keep all the 3 games aside and we'll continue to discuss about this one map.
That means you are not going to count the performance of Sensei and the boys, Revenant X Park. Even they also got too many points today, more than 50 points in just few games. That's why they are sitting at the top of the tabletop. And TVS Raider, most wicked player, is also AKOP with 42 finishes, but Hunters 40 finishes in 80 matches.
2 games yet to play.
Yeah.
I know that out of the most wicked player list, which we are watching right now, Hunter and Trey Scott will be the team who would eventually topple over AKOP, considering the performance that's been going on from them. Yes, overall we've got Legit, Jonathan, Troy as well, who are not that far behind. Spray God has taken a backseat, and it's been like this for the past few games, right? Yesterday, yes, we were still seeing him perform, but there's been a bit of a slowdown out here. And I like the fact how Troy is the man who's basically pulled up the baton. I'm pretty sure he's been riding pretty fast, but if you want to ride pretty fast and safe at the same time, you want to check out the new TVS Raider bike. We've been seeing Robin out here, we've been seeing Justin on this bike, and how can we not have AKOP sit on it? An OP player sitting on an OP bike, yeah, that's absolutely best, right? That's what we would all want to see. But now that we've seen the leaderboard, Shadow, OG are not at the top anymore. If anything, they're at the 4th place.
This could actually be the driving force for the players of Orangutan to stage a comeback. Tomorrow can actually be a comeback day for the players of Orangutan now.
Highly possible, and maybe they can eventually pull themselves back up right now as we have a look at the Swiggy 99 finishes, ladies and gentlemen. We've had 16 times 99 finishes, 1674 total number of finishes, and in total of 28 matches. Absolutely nice. But what's best is that if you scan this QR code, you can get burgers at just ₹99, and that too free delivery only on Swiggy's 99 store. Now we're gonna have a look at the Red Bulls max finishes coming in. That list again being toppled over by AKOP, but Genesis, Hunter and Trace God are only 2 finish behinds.
Edmino with 37 total finishes and Justin with 35 finishes inside the top 5. And Edmino recently, if you notice, in the entire roster of Hero Extreme Godlike, it is actually Jonathan who is doing the majority of the heavy lifting. At least he was doing that today.
Yeah, the big thing was that the reason why Jonathan has been doing that is because he was the impact player of the team as well. So that's, I think so, one way of Godlike putting Jonathan into the limelight, while Admino has taken a slow approach, a bit more of a laid back and a supportive approach. And I think so that still has been working out for them, and it's kudos to their strength. But man, Genesis absolutely had a banger of a day. But will this continue tomorrow? We'll find that out. Till then, bye-bye. Good night.